Good morning. All right, so it's pardon my hair here. Um, uh, so I did a reading yesterday, and it was unplanned, or rather, what happened was uh, the reading was what do you call this? I got the wrong time of birth, meaning instead of like a.m. p.m. or I think it was instead of a.m. it was p.m. It was just like I started reading the chart. I was like, this is a little off, and the person wasn't responsive. I was like, so I had to change it right off, right there, in during the reading. I was like, ooh, okay. Sometimes it happens. So when that happens, just go with what you know and just give the best reading you can. It's not, you know. Anyways, that's just my experience with the reading. So a reading of a chart. So uh, anyways, so welcome to my channel. For those who are new, my name is Jose. I like to coin the term micro-astrology, and because I work with over like 150, 180 asteroids, I've kind of lost count. There's so many. Basically about 200 asteroids. That's a lot already. There's like over 100,000 apparently. So I'm only using a percentage of it. A lot of them are named after places and also people. So usually names are quite a big thing. But I like the ones that are named after mythological figures, legendary figures, and also places. Those are the ones I use quite often in my readings. So yeah, and I use it in any of the disciplines in astrology. Natal, medical, I've been doing that recently. Natal, locational, synastry, mundane even, astrocartography, and I've added several things for that one. So anyways, this reading, it was a little fun, but sorry, it's not a little fun. So it was a little, uh, at first it was a little, I don't want to say like, I don't know how to describe the feeling. It's not discombobulated or surprise or anything like that. It was just kind of like, oh, okay. So I just went with the flow. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I'll see you at the other end. Thank you for watching. So welcome. Hello. You already said hello. Hi. Okay, so let's see what we get from your chart here. Mind you, when I do my readings, I don't know if I told you this, I use a lot of asteroids. I think I mentioned that. So what I see here first is we're going to focus on your lunar nodes. What they often signify is people think of them as like the life path. It's not really path per se, but kind of. It's what the soul wants to do. It's what the
Okay.
soul came here to learn. Also bringing in gifts from past, or what you call parallel lives. Really, I don't know if you know Bashar. He talks about parallel lives.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have watched a couple of his videos.
Yeah. So he does say that it's not. We don't live in a duality. It's a triplicity. But at the same time, he also says that what do you call this? There's no such. Everything's happening in the present moment, which totally makes sense
Mm-hmm.
because if you think about it, that's why we just have a memory of the past and we don't know the future yet. So
Mm-hmm.
why are we drawn to that, right? So that kind of stuff.
Mm.
But because of the memories, and I don't know if you know about how you can access through imagination, how you can access multiple parallel lives, like infinite, endless potential, and you can make that into your, that's why you have these vision boards. But at the same time, because we live in a physical world, it has to be brought into action. It has to be completed through action, right? Idea, thought, belief, emotion, action. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to
Mm.
say what I'm seeing here is I saw several beautiful things actually. Um, you were, well, first of all, I would say that you were kind of in, I guess you can say, questioning of your gifts of the past. You were technically potentially a healer in some of the past lives. In this life, it's showing me that you had doubts about what to do with that because it's almost like your Chiron is actually in the third house. And sorry, this is part of astrology. A lot of astrologers will use terminologies, but bear with me and just.
I know some
Oh, okay.
some terminology.
Okay.
I
Okay.
do research into astrology, so I'm not like completely like
Beginner. Okay.
unknown about it, but
Okay.
I don't yeah, I don't know what a Chiron is though.
Chiron is the wounded healer. He's often called a wounded healer. He was in mythology. He was a centaur. He was a tutor, kind of like a
Mm.
teacher to people because he was immortal. He couldn't, and he got shot in his leg, just like Achilles. And but he couldn't heal from that. So in order
Mm.
to live through that, he had to. First of all, he learned from the wound that he had and just integrated it into his life and taught people how to go about things more. You know, when you learn something from mistakes, it's kind of like a wounding. It feels like it's so heavy, but then when you
Mm.
surrender to it and you integrate it into your thing, it's kind of shadow work, right? Then you start to realize, oh, it's a gift, right? So you can help,
Mm.
yeah, and then you become this sort of like healer to others by saying, this is what I know. This is what you can do from my learn from my lessons, basically.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So with yours, it's Chiron retrograde. Chiron retrograde often means that it's a focus in the chart. It means it's something that constantly happens in your life, and it has a lot to do with relating to people. You're
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that.
yeah,
Like honestly,
yeah. There you go.
but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can see why you knew that as well. So it's the Pisces thing. So
you're
um,
psychic.
yes, yes. Yeah. Well, you're what I would say. I don't have any information on where your Horus is. Horus is an asteroid, but it does is named after Horus, like the god Horus. He's often about the clairs, but I feel like because yours is in Pisces, yours is very much high up there. So you're quite. I don't know if you work on your clairs, or if you develop certain psychic abilities. Um,
I think that it's an interesting one because I'm really interested in learning about all of that stuff.
uh-huh.
I don't know if I would say I've worked on my clairs, but then I don't know because like I do a lot of work in the like imagination realms.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I do that all the time and it comes really naturally to me.
Okay.
But I don't know about the clairs stuff so much. Maybe if
Well,
I don't know.
yeah. Well, it's not necessarily. Let's not put it in that too much into the category of let's box it in, right? We all have the
Yeah.
clairs. We all have all of it. We just have some that are more dominant than the others. Yeah, and the ones that tend to open up more easily is the claircognizance. That's the one that's kind of inside. It's like when you know, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after,
Intuition, right?
basically intuition and gut. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the next one after that, because it basically expands out. Um, the next one would be clear audience. So if you feel like it's
Mhm.
not really hearing, of course, it's kind of like a cognizant hearing. It's like, and you usually go into the quiet.
Inner hearing.
Yeah, that's why you go into the quiet. One thing that I loved about the Wim Hof method is when I started doing it. Actually, it wasn't even after that that I realized I've always had these images that come through my head, like literally, like they're like images, random images of like I don't know this person, I don't know what happened here, and it's constant, right? I didn't realize what that was. I thought I'm just highly imaginative. Okay, I'm very good. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but then I realized that was claircognizance, clairvoyance.
That's what I have as well.
Oh,
100%.
okay, there you go.
The images, like
Okay,
the visual, I've had that since I was a kid, like really strong. But I always like I used to be really scared of ghosts because I thought that I don't know, it was my imagination, but I would see a lot of things
yeah,
and it would be scary. But I think it's because I was scared. I was seeing scary things, you know, like the
yeah,
vibrational thing. But like I as I've gone deeper into my spiritual journey, I like you were saying, I feel like I understand it a lot more now. And
mm-hmm.
like you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you, when you're clairvoyant, do you close your eyes when you do this, or is it open? Or
I feel like both. I
okay.
think like I can definitely see, yeah, when my eyes are open, but when I close my
Okay.
eyes, it allows me to just focus a bit better. I think like if I want to focus on whatever's coming up, then I'll close my eyes.
Okay. Mine's random. Mine's kind of erratic.
Really?
Yeah, mine's erratic, and it's what happens is that it goes into one image and then it kind of doesn't stick there, and then it goes back. It goes to another one. So what I do is I tell my guides, or I tell whoever's coming in, I tell them, nope, don't go there. Let me. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? So I practice mediumship through this,
Yeah.
and I've helped people. But sometimes the mediumship, it depends on your energy too, because you know when you connect to, um, they say that the levels of channeling is different because psychic is like you and the other person, right? The other person who's living. You can sense their energy, they're there. And then
Mhm.
outside of that energy, when you expand, and when I say expand, I mean you're really allowing yourself and you're surrendering to what comes to you, and you're more open to interpreting. So less thinking, less unhealthy ego, and then further out goes into mediumship, because when you go into mediumship, what happens is that when you expand out, you're going into
Mhm.
the astral realm, basically, technically, or where the souls
Mhm.
have gone to when they're going through what they call, I think, what you call that, the life review. I think you've heard this before.
Mhm.
It's kind of like that,
Mhm.
but they're always here anyways. And
Mm.
again, remember that these are energies and souls that are always here. When I say here, I don't necessarily mean here, because you are always here. Your body will dissipate, your body will go away, but you're always here. Just like that. So, same thing, except you're locked in a shell. So, once you go
Yeah.
out, and it makes more sense that way, right? So, and then channeling itself is even further out. So, the more the lighter we are in vibration, so that means also physically. So that means when we're fasting, for example, when we haven't eaten, when we have a light diet, like a way we eat, our eating habits, none of that heavier, toxic sort of stuff. The lighter the food, the lighter the consumption, the lighter the life, the lighter the emotions, energy, and all that stuff in the mind as well, the higher you go, the more expansive
Yeah.
it gets, and then goes into channeling. We can all do this. It's just a matter of where we
Yeah.
are in our journey. That's all.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful.
Yeah. No, you explained that so well. Um, I think like I always wondered about the medium. I don't think I would. I've never felt called to do mediumship,
No,
and I always felt like I wasn't.
yeah.
Huh?
No, no, keep going. Yeah, yeah. I know what it is.
Really?
Yeah, I see it here.
What? Go tell me.
um. Well, from the gifts of the past, one of them is that you're a mystic.
Yeah.
So you're like
What does that
you
mean?
have the asteroid here, Imhotep. That's the one that stood out to me. But there are more beautiful ones here, actually. Um, you have several asteroids from
What
your
does
past life.
mystic mean?
It's okay, bless you. Hathor, Lachesis, Alicante, Bennu, Imhotep, Cyrene, Eris, Minerva, and then one asteroid that I haven't done research on, so I might have to get back to you on that. It's named after Ogmio, which is Ogmios. It's a Celtic god. I
Ooh.
forgot what he represents. You also have Heimdall in your past life, and also Venus. So that means that you have a lot of gifts from past parallel lives, right? One thing that I noticed about Imhotep here, since we're already talking about it, is that he was a mystic. So he's very multi-talented. He was an architect, mathematician, scientist, artist, poet, you name it. He has that. He was also an advisor. A vizier is what they could call it. Some kind of counseling. So in past lives, you most likely were in those positions of. You were also a leader, because your south node is in Aries.
Oh, Jose, I lost you.
Oh, you lost me? Hello?
Mm.
Can you hear me?
Uh, I can hear you now, but like I lost you. I didn't hear anything you said.
Okay.
You started saying about Imhotep, and then I lost. Like it was literally the beginning of what you were saying.
Oh, he's just really multi talented. He was multifaceted rather. He was a mystic, a poet, an artist, a scientist, a mathematician, architect. He was also into astrology. He did astrology stuff, astronomy. So he's pretty much everywhere. And he was an
Mm.
advisor of to the what do you call it? The pharaohs, or the pharaoh he was advising. He was a counselor. So you were also in that position in past life. That's a gift you can definitely hone. That's a big one. Um, Another one here is a beautiful one. Is called named after. By the way, if you missed all those stuff as well, if you miss anything, we'll also keep going, and it's okay. I can I can repeat stuff, but it'd also be in the recording. That's why it's good to have.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's okay.
Okay, cool.
That's
Thanks
good.
for
No problem.
reminding.
But at least you also hear me. You also hear the audio, so that's cool.
Yeah.
I'll go with the flow. Uh, let's see. We also have Bennu here. So Bennu is um, basically Bennu is a Egyptian god of. He's like the phoenix, but he's also about the origins. He is about creativity. The first he was a primeval god. Many people don't know about Bennu. It's like, oh, he's just a bird. It's like, no, he's more than that. So, so very creative, very creative, highly expressive force impulse that you have from past lives. Um, you probably lived in specific star systems as well, in different solar systems. I wouldn't doubt that as well. Um, Definitely a lot of solar energy to you. So you worked a lot with probably like fire. You have a lot of initiative as well. From that's part of your gift. You have a lot of initiative. You're assertive. Um, what do you call this? You understand the basics of life. It's almost like you have a connection directly to sexual energy, the
Mm-hmm.
mycelial network. Okay, those kind of things. You must, on a practical level, you must have also worked with asexual creatures. To be honest, it's also about
Mm.
asexuality. So sharks, Komodo dragons, starfish, whiptail lizards, pythons, marbled crayfish, Amazon mollyfish, wasps, ants, aphids, hydras, water fleas, jellyfish. You could also have been, your soul could have also um, evolved from those. Bashar says that when we go into when we people have asked, do we reincarnate into an animal? So like you can, but that's not really the case. It's more like the opposite. That's the way I understand it. Okay, don't quote me on this, but there's a video on this one, and someone asked
I've
about.
heard this as well.
Yeah, because I was animal in past life too. I was animals. I was mostly animal. So yeah,
Oh,
that's why I don't
okay.
get this life. It's like what?
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. What else was there? Regenerative abilities. You have strong ability to regenerate. So you normally take time to process things, and you know what to do with that. I mean, it's tied to your Venus, so that means when it comes to relating with people, especially particularly like um, could be relating with people in business or higher education or in academia or those like maybe coaches or teachers or you name it. Um, it was sorry, I lost my train of thought. You kind of don't often relate to them if it feels like it's kind of contradicting your specifically like your nervous system. If your nervous system is kind of like going, this isn't right. This is, and you're not very forward thinking, then you might usually like back off and like no, right? It
mm,
affects you on a nervous system level. Your
mhm,
Uranus is in the sixth house, so what that often means for me, what that signifies for me, is that it's okay to walk away. It's okay to, kind of be in your own little zone, and I'm sure you're okay with that one, right? Um, but here, what's happening here is that in this life, you're being called to do the opposite. Instead of being your kind of in your little bubble, you kind of being your soul wants you to kind of relate more with people, be open to that, even though it's a wounding. It's like, oh, people, what is right? It's okay. It's okay to relate to people. It's okay
It's the
to
collaboration that I
exactly
relate to that.
that.
Like, I'm very independent, and I find that I am being pushed to collaborate with people, and I find it quite like, oh, why do I have to do this?
I know. I know. I know. Your moon in it shows me right away when I saw your moon in Capricorn. I was like, oh, I can see that. My dad is like that.
My
So
moon in Sagittarius. My rising is in Capricorn.
were you not born March 13?
March 13,
Yeah.
1996.
Yeah.
My moon is in Sagittarius.
3:20 p.m.
AM.
Is that why you're doing all this stuff? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna close that one. And I'm gonna go into okay, that's why it kind of just there's something off about this one. Okay, that's why. I thought I picked AM. Okay, never mind.
Oh no.
No, this happens. It's okay. It happens. It's okay. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna do this one trick I do, which is rarely done. I'm gonna go through each asteroid. Not each asteroid. Not each asteroid. The one that's tied to your north node and south node. So let's see what we get here. So we're gonna do this bit by bit. Okay. So there we go. Now I see it better. Now that's why you're like looking at me. You're like, why is that? Okay. Yeah. So your moon is in Sagittarius. Okay. Now I get it. Okay. You're okay. Now it makes total sense. Okay. Got it. See how it? Yeah. Huge difference. Okay. Ah, okay. Okay, there you go. Okay, okay. So your node, south node, Aries. Okay, I see that here. You still have Aphrodite in your north node, though. So that means it's also learning to, yes, relate with others. That's kind of a given with the Libra placement in your north node. Ah, okay. So it's tied to relating with foreigners. So that's why you were doing your YouTube channel and your social media stuff because it is your part of your business, right? Um,
I have
yeah,
so many foreign friends.
yeah.
So many.
There you go. So in your past, you were it's okay because it's in the third house. You communicated quite a lot. You're very much a one. That's one of your gifts. You'd be able to communicate with people, even though it's not really your thing. Um, the reason why okay, that's the reason why you're there's a sort of resistance or kind of sort of apprehensiveness towards relating with others because Saturn rules your entire chart. Saturn rules your first house, which means your entire chart. So you're very much you embody this sort of like you. I guess you can say that when you were a child, you grew. No, you were the type of child that wanted to get things perfect to accomplish things. You were very like goal oriented, right? You were also very like wise as a child. People thought you like, this child knows very hands on as well. Very hands on,
Mm-mm.
right? Um, Jupiter being there though also signifies that you enjoy traveling. You enjoy going, but on your own.
Mm, that's true. I do like to travel alone. I
Yeah,
do.
yeah. But it's
I
also
like to
it's okay.
meet people too.
Okay.
Sorry
No,
to
that's okay.
interrupt you.
No, no, no. Yeah.
But yes, I have traveled alone. I do like it.
Okay. It's tied to the asteroid Valentine. I'm looking at this, but it's square your north node. So Valentine is about love language. He's about
Mhm.
Valentine, Saint Valentine. But it could also mean that you probably, when it comes to foreigners, I don't know if you've ever felt kind of persecuted by foreigners or friends in the past, or like out there people in general, the public or teachers or
What do
coaches
you mean
or
by persecuted?
or maybe ostracized or persecuted or felt like you were kind of like excluded.
Ostracized, 100%.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I was like, I had like a big situation happen with all my friends, which I talk about on my YouTube channel all the time. I
Mm.
feel like it's one of those things you were saying about the one of the biggest challenges in your life has become a gift because I have healed from it so much.
Yeah, yeah, because you love from the heart. You go from here, right? You go like,
Mm.
okay, I understand. Yeah, and that's okay. It's one of those things that you go through. You go through a lot of trials and tribulations, and that's okay, right? So, um, it just means that you are picky with who you express yourself to, right? You're the way you how you yeah, how you relate to others, how you actually say this is who I am, this is what I want. So that's totally okay. Um, there's just something about this. I don't know if you've ever astral projected.
Well, I have a lot of lucid dream
Okay,
experiences.
okay,
Astral projection, I nearly did once. I came out of my body, or like I went into the astral realm, and then instantly I was like, "Whoa, what the hell is this?" And then I just went straight back in, even though I was trying to do it, but it felt so weird. But
okay,
yeah, I have tried, and I think if I really do try, then I will be able to.
okay.
But
That thank you for that. Actually, that gave me more um, information on Valentine itself based on your experiences. That makes total sense. Do you like being on sacred grounds, pagan sites?
yes, I
Okay,
really love that.
there you go. Okay, so invisible energies, those kind of things, like that includes ley lines, right? Are you
What's ley lines?
secret energetic lines that converge around the planet that have been around
Ooh,
sacred sites? Yeah, ley lines. Ley, how do you spell ley? Ley and lines.
I find like I have really intense experiences when I go to places like that. Like when I went to last time I went to Stonehenge, it was like summer solstice, so you're allowed to be in the stones. It almost felt psychedelic for me. Like I wasn't on anything. I might have
Yeah,
smoked a little bit of weed. Like
it's okay.
I was like
It's okay.
I felt like I was having a full. It was very visual, you know,
Yeah,
whilst I was dancing. It
yeah.
was really interesting, actually.
There you go. Um, it's wonderful because I've been curious about ley lines myself, but I wanted to figure out ones that were close to me. But then there's
Mm.
nothing really much on it because it's not scientific enough. I'm just like, oh, well, it'll get there.
It's experiential though. You
It's
and also like, yeah, like if you go to these places, it's really like you just have to experience for yourself, you know?
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm also seeing here, since we're on this chart right here, what I'm gonna just actually gonna save this one. Okay. And what I'm seeing here is you have Adonis. So your midheaven in Cap. So we're gonna jump between your nodes and also your midheaven slash your nadir. Midheaven just means it's your mission, what you came here to do, or to be rather. But your nodes are showing you the direction of your path, where your soul was and where your soul wants to be.
Yeah.
Again, was as in hypothetically, not. It's not really past. It's here. Um, so Adonis, what is it? Sappho, Cupid. Okay. Um, it really is about cathartic experiences with your career mission. So there's something I don't know if you've ever gotten into careers that were pretty much seen as taboo and seen kind of like very dark and not necessarily dark, but like it's very transformative. It's very transmutative sort of energy, right? So Sappho, Cupido, and Adonis here shows the. Let me go to Adonis first. Actually, I remember Adonis being like, he was the one that's. He's about discerning love usually, but he was the one where when he died, people kind of mourned for him. So there's something to
Mm,
do with emotional expression and depth, right? Very
mm,
Scorpio, right? Now, because
mm.
it's tied to Nadir, with your Nadir being in Taurus, you live how you were raised in a family, your family environment. It's almost like they expected you to be this very. Oh, she's just gonna do her thing. She just these are the house chores. Da da da. And she's kind of simple. Maybe your family was like a family of builders, architects, those kind of stuff, or farmers, or musicians, even possibly gardeners. Those kind of stuff. That kind of very simple earthly jobs.
Yeah.
How that can be tied to your mission or your path or career or vocation is you can make use of the practical side of yourself in your home environment that you grew up in and bring that towards what you do at work, right? Your
Mm.
career, whatever you
Okay.
choose. It could be cathartic, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like, I'm going to abandon the third dimension. No, because you live in a body, you honor that, but you don't have to be connected. You don't have to be attached to it as well, right? It's again balance, integration, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
yeah. Um, Now, career wise, let's see what we have here. Would you say you're androgynous?
What does that mean?
Neither male nor female, kind of like you dress in between, clothing wise. That's trend.
I would say I have said that before, where I used to like go through phases where I would literally buy men's clothes,
Okay,
but like I like to do both, I guess.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Sure, sure,
That's
sure.
weird that you even say that.
That's okay.
But I
Yeah,
am girly though.
that's fine. That's fine. No judgment.
I have a bit of both.
Okay, there
Yeah.
you go. There you go. So that kind of makes sense here. Adonis represents bisexuality and pansexuality as well. So
Mm.
I'm queer, so I like the word queer. I don't gay is okay, but it's queer is better. It's more it feels more open.
Expansive.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
so I don't know if you've ever worked with specifically like men or beautiful men at work. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm reading what I'm reading. Okay, this is Adonis or skinny men, skinny like twinks. You know the term twink, right? No, yes.
I don't know. Twink. Twig.
Skinny boy like.
What do you mean worked with them though?
I'm just saying because I'm talking about your career. The 10th house, the midheaven, also represents the 10th house. What you call MC or midheaven is tied to the 10th house, which is also your workplace. Most
Huh?
likely bosses that you work for. So if your bosses were skinny and handsome, and that totally makes sense. Right? Like, so I'm just saying,
Mm.
or handsome. It could be handsome girls too, but handsome.
Mm. I
Yeah.
don't have any bosses, so
Okay, that's
but
fine.
in the past maybe.
In the past,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. That's still yeah, that still ties to that. Yeah. Um, you probably had like jobs that were very good, but then it didn't last long, like kind of like one hit wonders.
Yep,
Yeah.
a lot.
Okay. Let's see here. Were you ever in a love? Were you ever in a love triangle?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. No, no, that's okay. That's okay. I'm just gonna read what Adonis is here, because when I read through the details of the asteroids, what happens is it could still tap into an event in your life, in this life, and as you probably already know this, um, quantum physics based infinite possibilities. So that means that, as Pam Gregory, an astrologer, would say, astrology is the language of probability. That means that, especially when I work with the asteroids, I noticed this. It was like, I'll read into everything, and next thing you know, I'm like tapping into several parts of their stories in their lives. So it can happen.
Mm.
Again, if it doesn't
Mhm.
ring, if it doesn't resonate, doesn't ring a bell, we'll keep going. Okay.
Yeah, okay, I
Okay.
understand.
So again, so one of them is. Okay, so I'm just going to read through them. Okay, so it could be something to do with dichotomies as well. This is your midheaven. Okay, so career wise, vocation, workplace, bosses, people who pay you. It could be something to do with blindness, wounds, tears and rips, clothes, tunics, bystanders, casualties, and death. Violation of consent, so sexual, like age of consent, that kind of stuff. And this is kind of negative. I don't want to get into this, but rape and kidnapping, that's part of that. Captivity. Okay, we're going to skip to that. Lures, snakes, and traps. Punishments, something to do with bleeding. Now, I'm going to kind of skip a little bit because I know this is career wise, so I don't think this really applies. However, it could still apply. Um, I don't know if you've ever had
Could
anything tragic that happened in the workplace or to your bosses.
no.
No? Okay, so that means we're going to skip that one. Something to do with statues. I don't know what that is. Yeah,
Statues.
effigies, statues, figurines, kind of stuff. Um, Let's see here. Was there some sort of like raising, like a pedestal, sort of like, or was your boss kind of like, or were you kind of in that position, or you saw someone at work that was kind of praised? That's a list of pedestal. When you put someone on a pedestal, that saying we have in North America, put someone on a pedestal. It's like you're praising
Um,
them, worshiping, basically.
I don't know. I feel like there's a couple of things that come to mind, but I don't know if I relate to that so strongly.
Okay, that's okay. No, that's okay. We're gonna skip that one. And did you work with grains or sprouts, seeds, vegetables?
No,
That's okay.
not yet.
That's okay. That's okay. No, no, no. That's fine. Again, it could be a possibility, right? So,
Yeah.
um, especially with your house, your nadir in Taurus, it actually ties into your core beliefs. Your core beliefs tend to be quite rooted in, let's keep it simple, let's keep it grounded, let's sort of like, you want it to be, again, practical, pragmatic, even to a point where it's just like, okay, right? That's your core beliefs. When I say core beliefs, it's something that you were conditioned to believe in the family environment you were in. That's what
And
core
what's that
beliefs.
to do with?
It's tied to your midheaven. It's tied to your career because
Oh.
they're all connected. So usually when we choose a specific career or job we want to get into or path we really want to do, like us, that I think why we go into school, why we go to school, or we study this, or we learn this, or we experience this or that, whatever. It's tied to our core beliefs. It's tied to that whole like I want to do it this way because so. For example, like my nadir is in Libra.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually find that with the opposite of that, um, with Aries, I my jobs tend I've gone through many jobs because it's short lived, um, and I tended to want jobs that were very exciting, something that felt like I could conquer it, and I put a lot of initiative into it. But what happens is that people perceive me as assertive. They see
Mm-hmm.
me as assertive, but what happens is sometimes when that goes too much into when there's too much of that, I feel it's very unfair. So what I do is I
Mm.
integrate the two and go,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I can still take the initiative. I can still be assertive, but only when it's tied to my core beliefs of fairness and evenness and equality. Plus, also my sun is there, so that kind of makes it stronger. Actually, that does make it stronger. So your core beliefs are not. I wouldn't say necessarily that they're um, strongly tied to that, but
Tied to what? Sorry.
the core beliefs, the sun
Oh,
here, yeah.
okay.
But I don't see that. I see here 14 degrees Taurus. No, it's not tied to. Is it tied to other things here? Mars, Venus. Where's Venus here? I just saw it earlier. You think I know? Oh, it's right there. Um, yeah. So, so what I mean by that is like your core beliefs and your career are tied to each other, and what that means is you would have to what do you call it, integrate the two. You have to find a balance between the two. So,
Mm-hmm.
growing up in a family that was very kind of very Taurus, like very um, matter of fact, and kind of to some degree kind of boring. um, you would have to.
Mm-hmm.
When I say boring, I don't necessarily mean boring, but kind of simple. And
Yeah.
people see you as this probably very complex individual. Right? People assess you, and you're like, she's quite complex. She's kind of hard to read too. She's very kind of private as well as secretive. But then, um, or rather, maybe people might see you as kind of distant and kind of like very like you want to be in control of things, and you want to um, how do you call this? Again, there's power. It's rooted in control. There's control. There's power. So maybe people probably see you as like, ooh, step away. Don't mess with her. Kind of like, oh, okay. Um, but there's a part of you that goes, well, no, I'm not really like that. I'm actually just quite simple. I'm easy to get along with. I'm matter of fact. But so you have to kind of balance between having those kind of boundaries and sometimes opening them up and saying, okay, Yeah. So do you see what I'm saying here? So it's like,
Mm.
yeah, balancing that. That would help you with your career and being open to that kind of stuff. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and kind of being open to the intimacy that others provide, even if you don't see it the way you want to see it.
Mhm.
Does
Mm.
that make
What do
sense?
you mean by that?
Like for example, like much of your decision making stuff comes from your sun in Pisces, right? It's actually tied to Mars here and also Saturn. So you're very idealistic and you want it a certain way. You have like these,
Mhm.
you want it. It's almost like there's fear tied to that. That if I open myself up, if I soften myself up a little bit, that it's gonna be like probably, I don't know. I believe that I don't know. Trying to tie this correctly to the past. Do you feel like it's? Do you feel a disconnection with money sometimes? Oh, you froze. You still there? Oh, you
D-
still
I,
there?
d- I definitely do.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear
Hello?
you. Yeah, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
here.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. When you say disconnection with money, what do you mean?
Do you feel like it's
Like,
like you make money, but it's not like? Because I noticed that I just noticed this right here. Your second house is intercepted. So what that means is that you feel like when it comes to things that you want to happen with money, things that you want to do with money, specifically your resources, how much you make, the freedom that it comes from making money. And that also means it's tied to self worth and value and how you value yourself and what is what makes you shine. You feel a certain disconnection from that, like at least growing up.
I guess so, yeah. I think so. I think I know what you mean. But like disconnection from, as in, like, no, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Like it feels like I feels like you how do you call this? It feels like because it's in Pisces, I feel like there's growing up. And I'm not saying this is true now. As we get older, we do change, we progress, we all that stuff, right? But growing up, you felt kind of
Yeah.
like you weren't really, um, I guess, in touch with your sense of, I don't want to say spirituality, but kind of that connection to ether, to spirit, to energies, to anything
Yeah.
transcendent, that kind of stuff. Okay. So, let me see here.
True though. I wasn't growing up. I wasn't connected to any spirituality really. It was only when I was around 20 that I realized
Okay.
like how much I was interested in it. And then over the last 10 years, I've just become very spiritual, aware of how spiritual I am.
Okay. So your progress chart, which is shows usually when I see a progress chart, it's the houses of the cusp of in this case, the cusp of your second house must have moved away out of interception. So that means that it opened up for you. Um, Let
Mm.
me take a look at that one. Actually, I'm going to go into a progress chart right now. And as I'm doing this, there's no preparation for this because I got the wrong time. So it's like sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. It
Oh my
happens.
God. Did you prepare on the other one?
I'm sorry.
I said you prepared on the PM one.
Yeah, it's okay. Never mind. It must be your twin. I don't know. There must be a twin out there.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's fun.
so right here it shows me that right now you're as of I think today. Yeah, as of today, your second house is not intercepted. However, your first house is. That means that there's that whole again said disconnection from your body.
Oh,
I wouldn't say
that's
necessarily
weird.
disconnection. It feels kind of like it's not as important. There's no energy put into it. It's kind of just like this is just how it is. Same thing with relationships as
Well,
well.
with relationships.
Yeah, like or
Oh,
not necessarily relationships, but things that you probably. It's the seventh and the first house. So what they usually signifies is yourself versus the other, or rather those two together. So you feel like a disconnection from being able to relate how like what you yourself identify with how you also identify with another person, if that makes sense.
mm,
Yeah.
mm.
So
Interesting.
there's a kind of like it's kind of like a veil. There's a veil around it. Just like I feel this is I'm not seeing it. Does that make sense?
I don't know. I don't know what you mean, really. I
Um,
think.
I would say, well, I think there's a reason why that too, because like right now, the reason why you came to me, or rather you saw that, is like because I want to know. So what's happening here is that even your north node is in the cusp of the eighth house here, but it's technically in the seventh. So that kind of shows me that you're trying to figure it out, but you're kind
Right.
of like this, yeah. So that means that even with your south node in the first house, actually connected to the second house, it's how do I explain this? Again, it's again there's that sort of I don't want to say disconnect. I'm some words are so limiting. so
Oh, I know, I know.
so it's like
I'm trying to feel into it, what I think you mean, because is it like there's almost like I don't know, I feel like disconnect is the best word because I can't really think of another word.
yeah, it's there, but it's not there.
Mm.
Does that make sense? Kind of because that's the thing about intercepted houses. It's almost like you have, it's like it feels locked in, like it feels like it's there, and you're just like I don't know how to access it directly. It's kind of
And this
indirect.
is to do with the body and relationships.
Yeah, physical body, new things that you want to get to, new things that you venture into. You're kind of like I don't know. So you feel kind of like here, and then you're just hovering.
Can it be related to, like, for example, not putting as much energy into like fitness, like physical fitness? Would that be
Probably, probably. That kind of ties into your birth chart itself because if
right?
being that you know being that's the case, let me double check here again. Let's go into your natal and progress chart. Uh, uh, yeah, I would say so. But fitness is usually tied to the fifth house. But yeah, that could be too because this is your body. So yeah, so if you're not putting as much effort as you probably normally would or before, then that would totally make sense. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Interesting.
So which in turn is its opposite house in the seventh means that you don't really agree to something that you're like, I'm not sure about that one. Just like, okay. I'm not.
Mm,
That's what I meant by disconnect, if that makes sense. Yeah,
mm.
it's very vague. I sometimes run into these things in astrology, like intercepted houses, and like, tricky to interpret that because it's there, but it's not there. If that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, fair enough.
yeah. So okay, but thank you for that. Thank you for that feedback kind of stuff. That's good. That's fine. Let's see here. You also have Sappho here. So if you hear noises, pardon me, that's not me. That's the people upstairs. Sappho, Sappho here is also tied to your midheaven. Um, and she was a poet. So I don't know if you have ever felt called to do poetry as part of your career. Creativity is also part of that. Anything long term as well, very long term. Um, Very unconditional love. So I don't know if you've ever had jobs where you had real close relationships with the people that you work with. Like they're not even coworkers anymore. They're like we're totally like we're besties.
I feel like that with my like I have a cleaning business, and I feel like with my clients, they just feel like they're my family now,
There you go.
which is a really nice, and I enjoy that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Have you ever had bosses or in the past where they were kind of very heteronormative or heterocentric. They're kind of like they didn't they had issues with sexuality and sexual preferences and all that stuff, orientation.
No,
No,
don't
that's
think
okay.
so.
No, okay, that's totally fine. No patriarchal bosses. No kind of like it's very man's world kind of thing.
I have
Okay, so
experienced that.
okay, so
Yeah.
gender inequality. Okay, cool, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, and then we go into not much about Sappho here. We go into Cupido. Cupido is basically Cupid. That's just the Latin version of Cupid.
Mm.
Um, so a lot of like love, right? A lot of different like really it's unconscious to conscious love. Um, let's go into what that means for the midheaven here. 1 second here. Again, there's the gender bias stuff. You've already had that. You talked about that. Working with animals. Have we done that before as a job?
Yes, I've had a dog business before.
Okay. Okay, cool. Um, this might also include other animals like dolphins, octopus, seagulls, butterflies, bees. Okay,
That
so
sounds so fun.
yeah, so there you go. But this also includes kind of like jobs that are very simple, like working with honey, palm trees, fruits, and wine. Um,
Mm.
people wise, it could also mean working that helps people like children, babies, toddlers, young people,
Mm.
adults, young adults, right? That kind of stuff. Well,
Mm.
anything also sexual, any sort of like literally, I'm seeing here vanilla BDSM. So, so
Mm.
yeah, I'm not, I'm not, discounting this. I'm not cutting that out because I am sure that it could have been a possibility again, right? This also could
Yeah.
yeah, this could include nude art, nudity, that kind of stuff. Um, because we're talking about children or rather young boys earlier, we're talking about we could also it could also be tied to virginity. So maybe people, teens who lose their I don't know. I'm not saying that that's the job. I'm just saying you could have also helped someone with that. Vocation doesn't
Oh,
always necessarily mean it's a paying job, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's like service
Yes, that's
in
correct.
any way.
Yeah. Um, because we're looking at Cupido here, this could also mean stuff like opera, drama. We talked about poetry already there, painting, sculpture, the entertainment industry, music, architecture, um, education as well as part of this one. I don't know if you've ever done any sort of side job like teaching. Um,
Hmm.
definitely like partnerships, probably. I would say there's a partnership there. Uh,
What's the what? What do you mean about the partnerships?
partnership, any sort of partnership with someone like a partner, like like a co-owner of a business or something, or you just had a partner. You had like
Mm.
sort of like a kind of like when you're a cop, you have your partner, kind of stuff, like that kind of stuff.
And is this what you're reading, like past stuff, or is this just like past, now, future, anything?
That's all right. That's right. In this life.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, cool. In this, yeah.
yeah, that's right. Um, because we talked about art, also we could also talk about graphic things like graphic novels. Okay.
Okay.
Um, again, because it's tied to the placement in Scorpio. So anything to do that is very much Scorpio. That could also mean like research, very like investigative stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, oh, Valentine's Day. It's interesting. Hmm. That's interesting. Let's see here. People with I don't know if you've ever or you might work. I don't know. For people who lack exercise, helping them with weak muscles, inflamed joints, arthritis, rheumatism. People who have hard time sleeping,
Mm-hmm.
comatose. Um, those who are persecuted, tortured, violated upon, those kind of stuff. Those because we talked about animals earlier. I don't know if it's hunting or chasing, something to do with that kind of stuff. People who have been
Mm.
subdued or basically again same before like ostracized, right? So
Mhm.
I don't know if that's tied to that career choice that you want to get into or have gone into.
Mhm.
Again, yeah. Okay. Then we go with the other asteroids here. 1 second.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see here. Oh, oh, okay. Retrograde banks. Okay, it's tied to your midheaven. So that means that mm, sometimes you have doubts about investing into things that are not cathartic, that aren't very empowering. Let's put it that way,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes total sense. Um, is that retrograde Fortuna? Oh, you have doubts about how having a big, huge career. Sometimes you question that, right? You go,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it makes sense because if your sun Mars conjunct in Pisces and also Saturn there, it's actually tied to Saturn. Oh yeah, it is. Um, you have a lot of that energy. It's very idealistic, like I said. There's also you're very assertive. You're very set. You're like this is my thing. This is my way, kind of thing. But with your moon in Sagittarius in the 12th house, there's even more idealism there as well. It's also energy of Pisces, even though it's Sagittarius. So there's a tendency for you to feel at home. Your needs basically are, yes, there's the traveling part. There's, I'm assuming you love languages because I do. Foreign
Mhm.
things. It does maybe not necessarily languages, but also foreign things. But it's expanded by that Piscean energy. So there's a hugely spiritual side to you. So you have one of your hidden skills that you have is being able to target things that you want to get into, but also being able to let that go and be like a trust, right?
Mhm.
Because sometimes I don't know if you've been. Let me see here. 20 degrees. Is it square anything? Let me check here. Oh, did you saw something about your mother and the grandfather's side of your mother? Was there conflict
Mhm.
there? Was there conflict with self worth with them?
Massive one.
What did you say? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I said there was a massive like okay. So when I was born, my mum and my granddad didn't up until age like 13 years they just were in conflict. They wouldn't speak.
Okay. That makes sense. Which actually kind of tied. It was actually even before you were born. Um, so
Yeah.
when you were in vitro, there was a lot of your grandfather or maybe your grandparents, but mainly your is it grandfather? You said grandfather, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
he must it carried on to through you. So what happens is you were probably you were ostracized and you were disowned to a certain degree that in the womb you picked up that energy and you kind of just like oh because you have all these natural skills that you were born with. You know how to
Mhm.
connect things. You have here Arachne in the 12th house. It's tied to your moon, so that means you carry this within your soul, your inner self, your deeds, your basic, your auric field as well. How you become magnetic. You know how things connect. You see this and you see this, you connect that. So which actually will make you
Mhm.
good at anything that's networking, weaving, anything to do
Mhm.
with connections. You just know what connections are,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truth.
Especially with anything philosophical, anything to do with, I would say also like higher language. I don't know if you've ever heard of light language.
100%. I feel like anything to do with the spiritual realms, I just get really like it just clicks for me very easily.
Mm-hmm.
I just understand it, you know?
Yeah, totally makes sense. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah. So I feel like with this tied to the career stuff, Um, what was I saying with this one? Oh, sorry. No, going back to the moon here. You can use that to your advantage where you actually double check this here. I thought I said because there was this challenging conflict between you and your mother and your grandfather. How that brings up what that brings up for you is that you can use that sort of the power of Saturn. Let's call it the power of Saturn. Saturn is often called the teacher. He's the one
Mm-hmm.
that goes, slow it down, stop. One
Mm-hmm.
step at a time, one step at a time, right? You can use that to your
Mm-hmm.
advantage and say, I can do things and get to a point where I want to, but as long as how do you call this, put the time into it. You're one of those rare, to me, in my experience, you're one of those rare Pisces that have that Saturn placement. What that signifies for me is how you put effort into what you do practically,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that will be an advantage for you in terms of your career. And I think, do you feel kind of dissatisfied sometimes with that? It's just like it's moving a little too slow sometimes.
Oh, I was literally thinking that today. And I was thinking about how I have to remind myself that like I'm setting foundations and that I'm really being intentional about the foundations that I'm setting. And I do see like the fruits of the seeds that I'm planting, but it's very slow. And like I have to pace myself and just do a little every single day, make sure I'm planting, nurturing them seeds.
Yeah.
And I see over time that it starts to like the longer the time I'm doing it, the more I'm getting out of it,
Yes,
basically.
exactly. Right. That kind of
Yeah.
makes sense too. Were you in the FTP program as well, or the coaching?
Yeah.
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 So
FTP.
yeah, so like I have my YouTube channel too because of that. So, but I'm still at 197 subscribers on one channel, and I'm just like, wow, it's moving slowly. But
Yeah.
I can see why. But the thing is, was we're so conditioned to believe that, oh, you must get from A to Z in a matter of
And
time.
like
It's like
day.
that's not
Yeah.
that's not even the way nature works,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm,
why are we rushing, right?
so true.
Right? So
And did you find, sorry to
sorry,
interrupt
no, no,
you.
no, go ahead, go ahead. No, no, what were you saying?
I was gonna say, I don't know how long have you been doing your YouTube channel, like consistently?
2023.
Okay. Do you find that like just from doing that, you got so much value out of like in other ways, in terms of like learning about yourself?
Ah, yes, yeah. It actually
Yeah.
taught me. Yeah, that's what you said. That's the lesson that I learned, which actually ties in with yours as well. Like it's the whole. There are things that I posted that are like, why did I post that?
Yeah.
You're like, because you're just like you just want to. It's almost like okay. I think there was this one post I saw that we're talking about how um sometimes we want to just do things because it's out of service, and I'm like, you can't be of service to the world if you're not if you're thinking about it in terms of service. It shouldn't be service. It should be something similar to, well, service to me is similar to the word sacrifice, right? The word
Mm,
sacrifice. So what I came up with these lists for myself. I call it the 10 commandments. So
mhm,
um and one of them says what is it? What is it? Instead something about okay, from sacrifice to sanctify or something like that. Sanctify, not sacrifice, something like that. I don't remember. I have to look into it. So basically, making things divine is that does it have a divine? I mean, I say divine. I don't necessarily mean divine per se, but being here itself is divine enough. Being alive is divine enough.
mm,
So what am I
mm,
sanctifying for myself so that I can be of service to the world?
mm.
So I'm still learning. So I don't know. Like channel like YouTube wise and all the FTP stuff and this whole business thing. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so there's a lot to learn in the process too as you go through it. So and that's okay, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so career wise, going back here to Taiki, it's okay. You know, it's you have trust your tenacity. I think you have that tenacity that it's growing. I feel like for you, it's growing. I'm looked into your chart actually. Your progress chart is now your what is it? Your what is it? Progress. Let me go back into this. I think your ascendant is now in Aquarius. There's something about this one.
What,
Yeah,
in the progress chart?
yeah. In the progress chart, your ascendant has moved into Aquarius. And what that
Right.
usually, yeah, progress charts often just means that it's how you've gotten better. Your birth chart is going to still be the dominant, significant symbols and for for your life, right? But because of the progress chart in Aquarius, to me that shows that you now embody a higher energy frequency. Because it's Aquarius, you still very much kind of like Capricorn, where you have tenacity. You do have that, but you want things to kind of move along and be. You're more innovative than before,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That's true.
You carried on that wisdom. So are we good for time still?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. Okay. So I'm gonna go back into that one. Let's see here. Okay, let's go into Taiki. Taiki was, I believe, um, one of the muses. I don't remember. Oh, she was the goddess of fate. So here,
Mm.
it's kind of tied to fortune as well and luck. Um, because it's retrograde, it means that they're asked retrograde planets in astrology often signify that there should be a focus on that, meaning it needs to be, you could say, healed or improved or focused on so that it becomes sort of like not something we obsess over, but rather learn from the negative. As Bashar puts it, remember I said earlier how Bashar says the world, this universe rather, is not a duality, but it's a triplicity.
Mm-hmm.
I think you've heard that, right? So he calls it, we call it positive, negative, and then neutral, right? But I like to use the words expansive and then constrictive and then somewhere in
Mm.
the middle. So
Mm-hmm.
we learn from the constrictive energies or the experiences in life. And then what does that signify for us? For example, it's something simple as like seeing what you don't want to realize, oh, that's not what I don't want. So you make a choice, and that's the lesson. Instead of saying, being the whole unconscious sort of reactive, unconscious sort of like, I don't like this. Oh, hmm, that's not what I want. Simple as that. Something like that, right? You make a quick decision. You be like, but again, as we get older, you learn through that, anyways, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is with Taiki, so that means that it's luck doesn't really necessarily mean luck, right? You know this already, right? That it doesn't have to be anything that is outside of your control. In fact, it's co-creative, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
you choose what you want to do. You are always in charge. Even Bashar puts it that way. He says you always have the choice. I call this the age of choice. Not so much the age of Aquarius. It's the age of choice. You get to choose all the time,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So you get to create your own luck. That's what I'm saying here. On a
Mm.
more material level, um, let's see here. Having backups. Do you have backups? I'm sure you do.
What does that mean?
Backups. Having a backup, like a backup plan for what you want to do for your career, instead of, when I say backup, I don't necessarily mean just in case, but that's a very Sagittarian thing as well. Did you know that? I don't know. Like,
What, to have backups?
yeah, like, did you know? Well, I wouldn't say necessarily backup, but kind of like just in case sort of stuff. Like, do you have a luggage full of things or do you have something that's prepared just in case, and you're just, if you need to go, you're ready to go, and that's it?
No.
Oh, okay,
I definitely don't
okay. So that's a
think so.
that's a part of the Sagittarian energy as well, which is what simply means is that anybody can do it. So if you have,
Maybe I should.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it comes naturally for some people. Sometimes it's a kind of a learned thing, and that's okay. Either one is fine. Either way, you have backup. So you know what I mean? Saying like it's not to say it's not out of fear. It's just like, you never know. But
Mm.
the caveat behind that is it becomes like for myself, I've done so much of that. I got it from my family where it's like I have a lot of backups, but then I realize I have so much stuff. Holy shit.
Mm.
Like, what am I? That's no longer backup. Right? So, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Okay. Um, I don't know if you worked in a casino before. Have you ever worked in a casino before?
No.
Okay, that's okay. You don't need to.
My
um,
auntie has.
that's okay. In a ship, I don't know if you feel comfortable working in a ship.
No, but it's so weird that you say that because my auntie worked in a casino on a ship.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
Well, there's nothing to do with me.
Oh, okay. Well, it's showing me that's like I don't know. Let's see here. What about like a driving sort of thing? Like could be a driver's ed, could be just driving, or you know, because it's very Scorpio as well still. But driving, like could be race car driving, could just general driving, any sort of vehicle as well.
Mm.
Could be a lorry, could be typical car, bike, whatever. Ship.
No, I haven't got any like job experiences like that. I'm a
Okay.
good driver though.
Okay. Okay. Good. I'm very cautious when I drive. So I kind
Uh,
of don't actually I don't drive is because I don't believe in the system. I'm so stubborn and very rebellious against the system. It's like no, I
uh,
don't want to pay for insurance. No, I don't want to pay for a
yeah.
$100,000 car. No, I don't want to
Mm.
renew it every 5 years. Oh, it's ridiculous. I'm so like serious. Anyways, um,
I
another
don't
one is
blame you.
yeah. Another one is have you ever done work or have been were you a swimmer?
No.
Okay. No athletic competition or anything. Nothing athletic.
No, but I know that I have the potential, but
Yeah.
I don't put my energy into that.
That's the
I put
retrograde.
my energy into other things.
Okay. Yeah, cause I know it's okay, and that's totally fine, because you're more drawn to the spiritual stuff, and that's okay.
Uh,
But again, remember, spirituality doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be spiritual, namaste kind of stuff, right? It can,
it's true.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I will tell you one thing is like I'm at the point right now where I'm putting all of my energy into one area in my career because I know what I want to do, or like kind of,
Okay.
and I'm working it out as I go along.
Yeah. That's fine. That's totally fine. Um.
It might change, you never know what's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Right. You are putting a lot of effort into your business. I'm assuming here, right? I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah. Your progress chart. I think so. Shows that one. Okay. Wherever your Mars is, by the way, if you're curious about this, astrologically speaking, Mars often signifies where we put our efforts into, like literally most of our
Mm,
energy. Um,
Pisces, is it? I don't know.
sorry, your Mars.
I
Yeah,
think my
Pisces.
mom
That's right. That's correct.
Pisces.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of it is to do with money, freedom. Money is freedom. Self worth stuff, self worth related stuff, like kind of what you value as well. What else is
Hmm.
there? Practical things. Again, things that
Hmm.
put things that put bread and what's that
And
saying?
isn't that
On
quite uncomfortable for Pisces though?
yeah, it's very like see this is what I meant by the disconnect earlier because just like you do it, but then you feel like why am I doing that?
Yeah, it is a disconnect, and I have to like I know what you mean. I think in terms of I have to consciously kind of like push myself to learn about money and stuff because it's not something that I really want to have to deal with,
Yeah,
you know?
you prefer to hire
I
someone else to do that for you. Yeah.
I mean I would, but like even that I don't want to even think about that.
Yeah. And your Saturn there is teaching you to hone down the ego part of yourself. When I say ego, I don't necessarily mean the bad ego. There is I call it the unhealthy ego versus the healthy ego. There is a
Yeah.
there's that whole thing with about with Saturn. So it's okay. I think that, like I said, we talked about earlier, like the little things, right? Um, the shadow behind that is of course tied to Virgo. Working hard, doing the little things. So it's like kind of balancing that energy for yourself, balancing that
Mm.
sort of and feeling that thing that where it's just like, I want to be out there, I want to be transcendent, I want to be but
Yeah.
but then there's a part of you going like, there's a tether, like
Hmm.
I want to fly, tether, fly,
Grounding.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think what I think the gift behind that is that if you change your perception to what spirituality is, like the things that can be spiritual as well, like look to spiritualizing and sanctifying earthly things without being attached to them. Does that make sense?
Spiritualizing earthly things without being attached to them. Okay, yeah, I think I do know what you mean in terms of like spiritualizing like money, for example.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Without being,
Sure.
I feel like that's what I've been doing
Mm-hmm.
because it's like my natural way of um understanding how things work is if I understand it for a spiritual lens and it helps me to ground like be more grounded with it.
Yeah.
I have to sneak in the spirituality somehow because otherwise I'm like, I don't know. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
you've been saying?
So an example would be like if the way I see things, the way physical form has become is because, first of all, the unhealthy part of the ego is that, or the unhealthy tendency, or the conditioned behaviors of humanity in our perception, our conditioned perception of physical reality, is that it is the reality. It's not. We know this as more of a conceptual thing, but do we really understand it? Let me put it this way. If you see things from an energetic perspective, but
Mm-hmm.
then look at it as if it's like dust. Look at the concept of dust, the analogy of dust itself, even literally dust itself, like microbes, little things. If you cram them and if you condense them into something like this, you squeeze like dust particles, what will you get? A dust ball, right? You keep doing that, you
Mm-hmm.
keep doing that, you keep doing that. Next thing you know, you'll have this little metallic sort of feeling, metal feel kind of like substance. It's like, wow, it's kind of heavy. It's like, what is this? It's dust. Exactly what it is. So think about it that way. The physical body, everything physical that you touch, everything, your nails, your hands, the mic, the laptop, all these things have come from that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think of money
Mm-hmm.
and where it came from, it's symbolism of trade. It's a symbolism of freedom. Right? It's a symbol of freedom. So if you think about money as where it comes from, it is actually abundant. When I say I have $1, shit, I'm rich.
Mm.
Because it comes from where that comes from, meaning because it comes from intention. It comes from the intention of making that. It comes from the intention of using that to symbolize freedom because we believe in freedom. We believe that there's something else to be had rather than having itself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's just like this whole money thing. It's like, oh, okay. Because if you rip it apart, it's like, oh, it's gone. But is it gone?
Mm.
Because it's just symbolism of that. Right? It might
Mm.
take longer to get from, like, I lost $1,000 in my bank account. Oh shit, I lost $1,000,000. But if you figure out where that came from, without where that source where it came from, the source itself, you will not have that $1,000,000.
Mm.
The only thing that's original is origin itself. So you have
Mm.
to go back into your origin. Why? So that's the abundance, the potential to make that, not the thing itself. It's just an aftermath. It's like saying, right? That's exactly what it is. Like Lego pieces, you create this thing. We attach ourselves to the form, but no, it's the formless that we should be more not attached to, but go back into and say, okay, shit, I can start over again. Because and when you start over again, what does that mean? Right? For me, it means Wow, I'm learning a new thing again. It's like being back in school. I don't know for you, but when I was a kid, I was like so excited for like stationery. Yes, let's get back. It was just like this feeling because I knew instinctively and intrinsically that I was like I'm gonna learn, yay! And of course,
Mhm.
but that energy, but you maintain that energy, you maintain that curiosity, the childlikeness. There's a key, childlikeness.
Mm,
So it's okay.
mm.
So it's okay to not have those fortunes. Not okay not to have that sort of luck thing. It's okay not to have whatever. So if that makes sense, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
yeah. Let's go back into. I actually mentioned Cupido earlier already, right? So I think kind of. Let me see if I missed anything from Cupido here. Again, these asteroids in your midheaven are retrograde, but let's see here. Talked about education. So babies, children, no, not for that. Let's see if it is square anything. No, it's not tied to the past life. Um, oh yeah, I already did. Already. Okay, good. All right. Now let's go into more things. I want to kind of tap into. Is there anything from your south node in this chart? No, there isn't. Okay, let's go. Oops, my bad. Okay, now I'm going to go into your south node was okay. So we did talk about Imhotep, right? Um, that's that. We're going to go into the next set of asteroids. Let's see here. Oh, Sedna is conjuncture Nadir, which is opposite of your midheaven. Sedna is a wonderful planet. It's actually a dwarf planet, the furthest out there that we discovered. She has an orbit around the sun of about every 1,000 years or so. It's very long. She's very. Her story is um, about basically making use of or allowing for and surrendering to um, what is this one here? Surrendering to not having basic needs because we know that not having those basic needs can be replaced by other things. She's basically like the door closes, another door opens.
Mm.
She's complete forgiveness. She's complete understanding of what needs are. Um, so, because her story was that she was, um, I guess you can say, what's that word? Lured, you could say lured into by this stranger, some kind of foreign stranger. So
Mhm.
he's this handsome guy kind of thing, right? Who is actually a crow. It's an Inuit. It's an Inuit mythology. It's based on an Inuit mythology. She's the goddess of the sea and oceans and whales and animal sea creatures and all that stuff. Um, so she was lured into leaving her family from from her responsibilities. So I'm not sure if that happened to you. So this could still okay. But when she was taken from that, she her father tried to stop her, but she
It sounds like the story of the Little Mermaid,
pretty much yes. It sounds like her. Yes, exactly.
which was my favorite. That was my favorite movie when I was growing up.
Oh really? I love Little Mermaid too, and Beauty and the Beast. Yes.
Oh
Um,
yes, same. Beauty and the Beast, so
yeah.
good.
So she's basically about that whole thing. But what happened was when the father tried to prevent her from leaving, the man or the crow, I think it was a crow or raven, what do you call this? Did a whole thing where there's a tornado or a hurricane that swept and sort of started rocking the boat. So father started to get scared. So what happened
Mm.
was, but then Sedna fell off the boat. She tried to climb back up, but the father was so scared for his life that he cut off her fingers, and then she fell into the ocean, and she became the coral reefs, all the sea creatures and the animals, all the everything, right? So that
Wow.
represents the whole release. It's a release of. It's really trust. It's a really deep, complete trust in your ability to create,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
So you have that as part of your core beliefs. It's tied to
Mhm.
your year, so it's tied to where you grew up in. Very. It's the Taurus thing. It's like it's okay. It's okay. You know what a bull does? It's like I have my boundaries. Okay. Okay. I stepped on shit. Okay. Then I'm just gonna keep going. That's exactly what oxen do. Bulls. It's very much very practical, but it's like okay, I'm gonna keep going. Do my thing. Very simple, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's very grounded in the earth, so which you already know about, right?
Mhm.
Um, so integrating that into your midheaven, to your vocation, would make total sense, right? You can start from scratch, like I said earlier. But let's take a look though further into what else we can say about that. So maybe your family was your family was not into myth and sciences, right? Mysteries, not really.
No, I wouldn't say they were into. Oh, wait, my dad is definitely into that kind of stuff. He's not spiritual, but he's into mystery and science. Yeah.
Okay, so that means that you're because usually in astrology the fourth and the 10th house, because they're opposite of each other, represent the parents. In
Mhm.
this case, the father, your father was the one that was more practical, right? The one that was more homebody kind of parent. Your mother,
He's very
your
practical.
mother was the one who was more like, let's get out there kind of thing. She was the
Well, actually, my dad's also very adventurous and likes to.
okay, okay, okay. That totally
Yeah,
makes sense. Okay,
they both they both have. I would say my mum's less like let's get out. I don't know. Maybe in different areas of their life, you
okay.
know.
That totally makes sense. Okay, cool. Good. That's
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that totally makes sense. Okay, that I see that. So that means that whatever you got from your father stems from that as well. I mean, your relationship with your father shows me because of the Saturn placement in Mars. Was he in the military at all? He was, in,
No,
but he's very strict, right?
I wouldn't say he was strict.
Let me double check.
My mum was more strict. I don't really. I don't know. I wouldn't say he's strict, but I don't know. Practical, definitely.
Okay, okay, okay.
Say
That's fine. No,
so.
that's fine. That's fine. It's just the grandfather thing. Just stepped earlier. We talked about that earlier. It's okay. This is part of the
Mm.
astrology. This is part of my learning process. Like, okay, interpretation. It's fine.
Yeah, it's true.
You
Yeah.
um, let's see here. What else can you do? Have you ever thought about? I know you don't really want to work for people, right? You enjoy working for yourself, or rather, do you feel like you have to?
Mm, I feel like I cannot work. Like I don't want a boss. I really want to have my own business, and I do have my own business. But I do want to work with people like I was saying to you before, I have also like been through this lesson already where I tried to do things all on my own and I got very burnt out and I felt like I was really lacking social connection. So then I was like, okay, I know I need to be around people more. And now I've realized that actually I like to work with people, but it's more of like a collaboration sense
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah. And that's totally fine. And as long as they also feed your energy, right? As long as right, they're actually you understand where you're coming from too. So it's okay to be picky to some degree, right? Um,
I'm very picky, yeah, with who I work with, definitely.
hmm So this whole thing about um, I think you grew up also in a family environment where you were surrounded by maybe foreigners, like your neighbors.
Um, well, maybe like we traveled a lot, but I would say we weren't a little bit. No, I wouldn't say a lot.
Okay, no problem, no problem. No
I'd
problem.
say I'm very drawn to foreigners though. Like I love foreign people. I just love making friends with them, and I love all people. But you know, I
Yeah,
just like I said,
Yeah.
I have a lot of foreign friends.
Okay. There might be something also connected to ocean stuff. So I don't know if that's something tied to you. Could necessarily oceans, could be seas, water, right? Because you are Pisces, so being connected to
For
water.
me, yes, but also for me, it's I find it's more on a spiritual plane, like it's the emotions, very connected to emotions,
Yeah.
and I really understand everything. I love learning about emotions. I love teaching people about emotions, all of that stuff.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay. That makes sense. That's all I want. That's also, in a way, that's also tied to. It's tied to both the polarity of the your midheaven and your here, because they're both still emotions. They're inward oriented signs. They're
Hmm.
called in astrology called negative signs. They're not negative, but meaning negative is
Mm.
inwards. So I can understand why that is. So your career has vocation is tied to that as well. So
It's also teaching people how to go inwards and like go deeper with going inwards. That's like what I'm doing at the moment and what I'm really interested in doing.
okay. Now there's also another asteroid called Medusa,
Okay.
where going in that definitely helps with that. So people who have gone through abuse, shadow. I don't know if you do you incorporate shadow work into your business?
Hmm.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, things related to shame, judgment,
Hmm.
accusations, even to the point where it's about like people who have committed crimes, even though I'm saying I'm not saying you work with criminals, but that's cathartic.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very interesting thing. I haven't done yet, but like I'm very diplomatic and I am very good at seeing that like there's complexities to a person. It's not all like you're just a criminal and you're bad.
Exactly.
So maybe like helping them through that in some way would be very helpful for would be very good for me
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Good. Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen Teal Swan stuff.
Oh, I'm a big fan.
Yeah. I knew there's something about it. It's like, okay, she talks about gaslighting. She talks about the third option. She talks about, yeah, very much deep shadow work. I love her stuff. Did you get the
Yeah,
book?
I love
Did you get her book, the completion process?
Yes,
Okay.
I've got the completion. I've been taking my friends through that process.
Awesome. That's
Yeah, and my
cathartic.
mum as well, and she just loves it because it's very, very helpful.
Apparently, you can get trained for it to become. Yeah, that's
I
like.
was literally looking on that the other day, a couple
Okay.
days ago, to see
Yeah.
if, but there isn't. She's not running a training like
Oh,
there's
she's
no
not.
date yet. There's
Okay.
no date. Maybe she will run one, but
Because you can link this to. Have you ever thought about doing QHHT?
what is that?
Quantum healing hypnosis technique or therapy.
Therapy.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
because it'll help you feel connected to more of your spiritual, but at the same time can do more. It will feel a bit like shadow work because it goes into memories of parallel lives, and that could also go further out into galactic.
Oh.
But because there's shadow work to it, so it's very much like here and then out there. So it's like,
Mm.
so I feel that, or maybe both. I'm not saying, I don't know. That'll be exciting for you if it's an exciting journey. I think you would so resonate with that. I think doing QHHT and the completion process kind of thing, or some sort of shadow work with hypnosis or something like that. I mean,
Mm. Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely looked into hypnosis,
Mm.
and it's something I would like to try. Like just getting. Have you heard of rapid? Is it RTT? Rapid transformational therapy. I think that's like a
I kind of
hypnosis.
heard a little bit about it, but not little. I just heard the name. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
apparently that's meant to be really good as well,
Hmm.
but I've
Okay,
not
so there you
tried it
go.
yet.
So, working also with like rape victims, people with trauma,
Mm,
that kind of stuff. So again,
interesting.
yeah, specifically with women. So objectification of women. This is tied to that. Um, People who have played the role of heroes and villains. Healthy feminism.
Hmm.
Sexuality also is part of that one.
Hmm.
Um, People who
Yeah.
have gone through, I saw this earlier, but near-death experiences. People who've gone through that.
No, stop, because this is like I geek out on the near death experience. I literally just before me and you had this call, I was making a video talking about near death experiences because I love that stuff.
Ooh,
So interesting. Have you
okay.
watched the videos like on YouTube about them?
With Alex Ferrari and his channel. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I've seen a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, so good.
yeah.
And the Shaman Oaks one, have you seen that one?
Why does that sound familiar? Shaman
I don't know,
Oaks.
maybe it's Shaman Oaks. He's got a YouTube channel all about um he also did a mediumship thing as well. I think he was like doing psychic healing at one point, but his channel basically went into him interviewing near death experience um cases, which
Okay.
I find it really cool.
I have this feeling. Hold on, let me keep going in here because I feel like there's something. Let me look into two more sets of the asteroids. I'm connecting this to what you just said there because I feel like there's something about the healing that's tied to this. Hold on one second.
I've
Because
got something in mind, but I won't say. See what you're gonna say.
what is this on here? Uh, hmm. I just kind of want to see if the charts will say it. It's almost like I'm forcing the chart. Sometimes I do that. You're not supposed to.
uh
Mm, there's something about, um, I wouldn't say necessarily mediumship, but I feel like there's something about, what is this one here? Yeah, let me go back into the other charts. Something tied to your sun. I want to see if there's something missing here. Because if I see Osiris, you know what? I'm just going to do it this way. I'm going to take a look at asteroids that I know are about mediumship. Because if it's a specific type of mediumship, and I don't know if you're open to this, because you know today's mediumship is usually called evidential mediumship, or sorry, um, it's a mental mediumship. That's what it's called. But
mm,
traditionally, mediumship was physical mediumship.
right.
You know, the whole like things cutting out, and it's what do you call it?
Yeah,
Ectoplasm.
yeah. I've heard about that. Yeah, I don't relate to that. I don't resonate with it so much. Like for
Oh, okay,
me personally.
okay, okay. I'm just thinking because of the Saturn placement, so I'm not sure. Okay, interesting. No, no, I just thought I'd put that in there. Um, there's something about your past life that tells me about Alicante.
You said something earlier about research and like teaching and stuff, and I
Uh-huh.
find that really resonates with me to do with all of this stuff because I'm just constantly researching and
Yeah,
look at and finding out new things.
yeah. It's a very Scorpio energy is both informational but also strategic. It's strategic and uh, tactical. There's something. There's
Oh,
two. Yes. So when it comes to the career stuff, it would have something to do with that as well. So anything related to that. So it's biding your time. It's kind of, you know, that's why you have also Saturn conjunct your Sun. It's like you're used to having time to yourself. You're used to kind of having that. People might call it the hermit sort of feeling.
mm,
But this being that kind of energy doesn't necessarily mean that you're this way or that way. It just that's the type of
mhm,
energy you resonate with. You're very introverted. You're mostly
mhm.
introverted. Are you? You're partially extroverted, aren't you? You
I'd say
become
I'm half and half
yeah. Okay.
in the middle,
Same. I
depending
become
on the day.
ah. So
Depending on the moment.
yeah. um, let's see what Alicanto. Sorry, not Alicante. He was this he was this mythical creature from South American mythology. I think it's Aztec or is it Chilean mythology or something like that. And basically, it's about obscurity. Um, so it's almost like, how do I put this? Seeing things beyond what they look like. Like it's kind of like Neptune, where it's just sort of like this mystery sort of stuff. Um, but being able to
Mm.
capture something that you know. Again, that's one of your gifts. You already know that.
Capture, what do you mean?
Capture,
Sensing? You
yeah,
mean, like,
sensing, understanding, right? Like
yes.
yeah. So manifesting, I would say, probably is tied to this as well.
Mm.
Um, so there's something about I don't know if it's in past parallel lives or parallel lives you were a large bird or a bird, something to do with
Mm.
birds, right? This desire to fly is something that I was channeling earlier from you, that you do want to fly because it's a past life thing.
Yeah.
Um, anything also nocturnal behavior, nocturnal tendency, nocturnal things of the night. So I don't know if
Hmm.
you like being awake in the evenings too. I'm not sure.
Yes, I really do.
You do? Okay. Um,
It's something I struggle with. I'm like, I want to go to bed early and get up early, but I love being awake at night.
okay. Cool. I do that sometimes too, but sometimes like the Libra in me, because of your Pisces energy, it's okay. I think sometimes Pisces, yeah, Pisces loves staying. Like my boyfriend, he has Moon in Pisces,
Mm.
but his sun in Leo doesn't call for that. Just like no,
Yeah.
you cannot sleep late. But for Pisces, for some reason, it's okay.
It's so true. Both my parents are Pisces. I live with sorry,
Ah,
both my parents are Leo. Both my parents are Leo, and I live with both of them. And they are like early, go to bed early, wake up early, and they're like, shame on me for waking up late.
well,
Not so much anymore, but when I was a kid, you know.
oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. My dad loves sleeping up late. He's Pisces, so it's like, yeah,
Really?
yeah, yeah. But it's affected his
Oh,
health at times too because his moon is in
yeah.
Capricorn. So it's like, okay.
That's
Um,
the thing. It makes me feel tired if I'm
yeah.
up
Too
too
much
late.
of it. Yeah, too much is not good. So, um,
Yeah.
I just saw something here that I think maybe worthy of looking into. I'm not sure about with Alicante in your past parallel lives. There's the gifts you can take from that because you that was your question, right? Was you were probably either a a lightweight or a heavyweight, or rather, um, so there's something about not only the physical body but also eating habits, but also other things like having a lot of things like just have heavy things and then light things. There's something about the lightness and the heaviness, if that makes sense. Do you understand that?
In terms of food,
It could be anything as well. No, no, not just food. No, no.
it makes sense to me in terms of like feeling and energy and like
Yeah.
how I like decisions I make can affect how light I'm feeling, how heavy I'm feeling, or
Okay.
um yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I'm seeing here, but it is in Aries, so that means that there must have been like something about headaches. I don't know if you inherited that from like headaches or something like
Well,
that. Um,
there's a lot of headaches in my family.
okay, there you go. So, one thing that you can do into that, because it's part of your parallel past lives, is there's something about genetic inheritance. So,
Hmm.
tying that to your career, the midheaven in Scorpio, genetics.
Mm.
I don't know if you've ever
Mm.
resonated with that, but tying that to genetics on the physical level, tying that with the spiritual stuff, the energetic stuff.
Mm. It's to me genetics. I don't know. Like when it comes, it does make sense to me in terms of like patterns
Okay.
and
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, like in terms of. Have you heard of the Gene Keys?
Yes. Yeah. What's his name?
Oh,
I totally forgot his name. I know. Yeah. Yeah.
Richard, Richard Rudd.
There you go. Broad. Yeah, that's his last name. Now, okay. Yeah, yeah. Something with the R.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's what when you said about genetics, it came to me the Gene Keys because I was like, that's I find that really interesting because it's like everyone has their own patterns and they can come from your parents, your whole lineage,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all tied very like much into your genetics.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's like something that I definitely talk to about with people when I'm like taking them through sessions and stuff.
I'm gonna take a look quickly at your series here because Ceres is the high vibration of the moon, and we talked about Sedna earlier, right? Sedna is also the high vibration of Ceres. So Sedna
Okay.
is tied to your home environment. So the whole inheritance that's tied to Ceres. So that means genetics. But Ceres is specifically epigenetics. I'm gonna take a look at where
Mm.
Ceres is in your chart here. Oh, okay. Okay. Wonderful. It's in 13 degrees Sagittarius. It's actually trine to your Chiron. It's actually sextile to your South Node. Epigenetics. I wouldn't necessarily say genetics itself, but epigenetics. So, how the
Mm-hmm.
environment influences your genetics.
Mm.
So, that can be part. And it's in your 11th house. So, that means it could be. Is it retrograde? Let me double check here again. No, it's not retrograde. That means that you can look into your past, your ancestry, physical ancestry, um, and learn about that so that how you can actually help that with healing.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm. Interesting.
yeah. So if you're curious about that, it necessarily doesn't necessarily mean that you go into actual genetics, but it could mean that you study behavior, you study psychology, mindsets of people, like why are they behaving this way, specifically through gains and losses, like family environments with the family, because it's in Sagittarius, and on an epigenetic level, it would be like foreign bodies, foreign relationships, foreign things. It's also communication, your education system, education orientation, um, philosophy, why people think the way they do, right? That kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. That would be kind of, we talked because you remember.
That's really related to stuff I'm doing actually.
Oh, okay, there you go. So there you go. Yeah. Uh, there's always timing to all these things, right? I love when this happens. It's like I'm being called to look into Ceres here. Okay, so
Yeah.
and it was like it blends naturally with your nodes. So because
Yeah.
yeah, and the healing part is something you have to put a bit of effort into, but it'll come naturally. So
Right.
yeah, so I'm gonna go into Ceres quickly here, and I'm gonna actually tie this into. Let's see here. So you look at also cycles, any kind of cycles, specifically to do with the body, um, fertilization as well. Um, what is this one here? Or rather, not necessarily completely genetic, but again, what environments people are in and why relationships are the way they are. I would say start with yourself. Like, why did this? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like using facts into supporting the journey of healing for you. And
Mm.
right, so how does my wounds become wonder? How does my pain become purpose through this research of epigenetic influences, epigenetic processes, etc.? Does that make sense?
Mm. So how does like my pain become what did you say, sorry?
Purpose. Pain
Purpose
purpose. Yeah.
through epigenetics, meaning through the influence of
Environment around you.
environment.
Yeah. Which is actually funny because I'm looking at it right now and totally forgot. Ceres is also about agriculture. And you grew up in a family where it's related to agriculture, right? There's some sort of farming stuff there, wasn't there? Or
I wouldn't say no, I wouldn't say farming. I'd say like my whole family likes to do gardening and they're very
there you go.
hands-on. There's a lot of construction.
Okay, so there you go. So the whole gardening thing is subtied to Ceres as well. Okay, weeding, agriculture, or some
Yeah.
kind of like the planting, nurturing. So those
Mhm.
kind of the reason we have the words, when you have the word cereal, that comes from Ceres.
Mhm.
So
Ah.
something to do with seeds. So if you find a
Yeah.
way to, if there's a way where you can just find a way to kind of do a bit of research on what your family ate, like the seeds that they ate, grains, the seeds that they ate, like even seeds of the fruits that they ate, seeds of the plant they ate. How did that? Was there this or was there that? Was there too much of this, too little of that? How did that affect you? Because it's not just energetic, it's not just mental and psychological and emotional. It is also material. It has an
Mm.
influence on our biology. It has an influence on our mind. So you can combine the two, the spiritual and the physical, or supernatural and the natural. I'm gonna say subnatural, supernatural with the natural, and combine the two and see how does that work. And it's funny because that ties in with your North Node in Libra. Libra is about balance. You combine the two and you
Mm.
make yourself kind of like, okay, this will work for, because healing doesn't necessarily have to come from a physical or from a spiritual thing, avenue.
Mhm.
It can also come
Mm.
through the physical as well. In fact, both is good holistically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. True.
yeah. So that's one thing. I don't. I mean, whatever resonates with you, that's totally fine. So again, vegetation is part of that as well. Um,
Hmm.
on a spiritual level, look up portals.
Okay.
Portals. If you look up portals, there because the body is a portal too.
Yeah.
Because we're 70, 75%, 77% something water. Waters are portals.
Yeah. Oh.
So there you go.
So what do you
Goosebumps.
what do you think what do you think I should look up with portals?
Well, think of the human body as a portal. If you think about it that way, in terms of how I would say there's something about the messages we get at a very intrinsic, instinctive, and physical level,
Yeah.
and how we choose to do things in the physical world.
Mhm.
So that means that if we are surrounding ourselves with the energy of constriction, meaning that that's
Mhm.
what we're going to get, and that's what we're going to start to believe. And that ties into
Mm.
what we start to believe as our needs, right?
Mhm.
So remember I told you about Sedna thing, right? Sedna is tied to
Mhm.
this. So when Sedna is releasing, when Sedna released her beliefs, it was because she believed that the needs of the world, or what I was conditioned to, her father, it's like, you must have this, da, 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 da. Or the foreigners, you must come with me. Da, da. No, she just released all that and it's like, no, I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to trust the inner need, the inner nature, what's inside, and go really deep into that one.
Mm.
So that's why I think the
Mm.
genetics is somehow tied to this, and it's
Mhm.
both you have Sedna and Ceres are wonderfully, fantastically, galactically, universally wonderful examples of
Mm.
what you could get into in terms of like, yes, you could call it genetics, but really what it is, it's everything,
Mhm.
right? Using the
Mm.
analogy, using the analogy of the whole dust thing I told you about, right?
Mhm.
Because there's the reason. Okay, let me put it this way, another way. Um, we all have this inner intelligence. We all have it.
Mhm.
I call it
Mhm.
I call it primordial sovereignty.
Mm.
So when you know, you just know. So it's kind of tied to the cognizant abilities, the clear cognizant abilities. When you know something, so you trust your intuition and your instinct. Go with the two, both of them, and and what you get is what you get. And even if you don't get something, as Gabrielle Bernstein, I don't know if you've heard of Gabrielle Bernstein, she says this or something better. This or
Mm.
something better. Right?
Mhm.
She talks about that. So it's basically trusting inside and then applying without. Going within,
Mm.
applying without. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So,
Taking the action on what
yeah.
yeah.
So it's also going back again to what I said with series here. So it's okay to trust the earth. It's okay to trust the material things in the physical world. Trust it. Because remember, trusting is not just saying, it's not an external validation of that thing. I trust that I trust you, gravity. I will fall. Things if I drop something. No, trust is also, even though you don't know what's going to happen, you still go for it anyways. And you have that, so I understand. You can do that. So yeah, so there you go. Sorry, okay, I'm going to go back to the charts here. And one last. Oh, I think that was that. Was it? Let me double check here. Oh yeah, Algira, the last asteroid. Technically, she's not an asteroid. She is a dwarf planet. She's from Native American mythology or beliefs. Again, she's about called it here emptiness, fullness, and witness. So being in that mode of allowing for something to happen, but watch out for the shadow of Pisces, which is sometimes Pisces wants to be just told what to do.
Yeah, and not do it.
Exactly. So you have to balance the shadow of that, which is Virgo. It's like you putting into action, right? Always.
I have learned this lesson many times.
Yes, exactly. I know, I know, I know, I know. And it's good.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. I want to add something to this. Oh, you were definitely a leader back then. Some sort of CEO, maybe head honcho. You definitely worked in communities too, in groups.
Mm.
Um, but maybe there's something that happened in the past or parallel lives that caused you to kind of distrust working with people. That's what you came here to learn. You already learned. You're still learning more most of that. So good. Um,
Hmm.
Again, okay, this is where it's interesting. Algira shows me here that there's some. It has something to do with. Hold on, is Algira? Oh, Algira is not your past life. Algira is your home environment, which is still okay, tied to series as well. I would say is it tied to series? A little bit. No, the home environment is tied to that. That's Algira. No, but there's something about history. Okay, I'm gonna skip that one. Give me. Okay, no, sorry. Go into the north node. Sorry, one second. No. Click, click, click. Is this the right term? Oh, this is a. Oh, oh, I don't want that one. Okay. The third one. Let's try this one. 1009. Where did that end up? Oh, okay. I have to go to this one. No, not through the north node. Let's try this one. Oh, one second. I appreciate your patience. I know you have
That's
patience. That's the gift of Saturn. My dad isn't
oh,
really like that. He kind of is, but then sort of not.
I definitely have got quite good patience actually.
Yeah, that's the Saturn. It's a gift of Saturn. So there you go. So right there, you're being reminded again. Um,
Mm.
uh, After this, I'm going to go straight into Chiron and want to see what the details they have about Chiron. Because Chiron is connected to your north node, there's something about that. Ah, okay. There's a Megaira. Megaira is one of the fates. I don't know if you know this, but she was about
No.
envy. Okay.
Hmm.
But what that signifies for the north node is that in terms of what you are being called to do, is there something? It's tied to psych, the psyche. Um, Something about legal systems. So this is why I mentioned criminals. So there's something about the criminal justice system or something like that, right? Again, any sort of legal system, legal duties, police investigation, this kind of stuff, or tying it to the more spiritual stuff, nightmares.
Mm.
Okay, so we already kind of talked about that earlier about the abuse things, but on a more psychic level or psychological level into the subconscious, nightmares is one of them.
Yeah,
Again, I think you already do this. Sort of anything that's empowerment related, self-empowerment, um,
definitely.
corruption. Okay. Any sort of people with a lot of temper get very, very like angry, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She's the fates are all about that too, right? Gender
Mm.
equality as well, and sexual rights.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm.
um, yeah, that kind of stuff. Social injustice, suppression. What's this? Oh, okay, here we go. Serpents. I don't know what you
Mm.
feel. How do you feel about serpents? But it's tied to the Scorpio energy. But serpents doesn't necessarily mean snakes. Could also mean lizards and dragons.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, and because it's tied to Scorpio, Scorpio has these three stages. Um, well, it's tied to Libra because you're North Node, but we're talking. I'm tying both your nodes and then your midheaven. So your midheaven is about investigation and Scorpio energy, but Scorpio tends to have kind of three stages, is what they call it, to its through its evolution. There's the Scorpion itself, which is very defensive and all that stuff, very animalistic, very basic, very like vengeance. And then there's the eagle, which rises above that, but it still captures what it wants to. It still conquers. It still wants to, you know. The third stage is the phoenix, where it completely lets go. It just lets go
Mm-hmm.
of things. It's complete trust in its own regenerative abilities, power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Transmutation, that kind of stuff. So there's something about that. Remember I said earlier about birds? There's
Mm.
something about that. It could be symbolic.
Yeah, and
Yeah, sorry.
yeah, no, it reminds me of the whole like rage process, like what you were saying about helping people with anger issues. It's like helping them to process in that way where you end up becoming the phoenix, where you transmute it
Mm-hmm.
and then rise into empowerment,
Yeah,
if that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. So power. It's power related.
Mm.
Because it's also tied to Libra, because I'm tying into Libra here with the North Node in Libra. It's that how humans relate to each other. So
Mm.
Chiron here is Chiron here is remember I told you he's a teacher, right? So that could also be something.
Mm.
You're not necessarily teaching directly, because the tendency for us is when we see teacher, we think of teachers as like, I'm telling you the information. I'm telling you what to do. You don't necessarily need to do that. You could just be an example.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fully. Yeah.
exactly. So, but on a practical level, let's see what it says here. Again, any type of wounding. We're talking about even the most subtle ones, like pride can be a subtle one. um,
Hmm.
things that we want, like things that we think are good, like sacrifice, that can be wounding as well. Any type of wounding, any type of resistance, really, really,
Mm.
yeah. Let's see here. Parents, maybe parents, marriages. That's the one. It's the big one. Marriages. So I don't know if you want to go into that kind of, because it's a Libra thing. There's something about counseling. I'm not saying
Mm.
be a marriage counselor, but
No, no, I know what you mean. It kind of it's like conflict resolution. I'm really interested in conflict resolution, and I feel
mhm.
like maybe in the future it will be something that I go into deeper
Okay,
because I'm really good
okay, yeah. So I don't know much about conflict resolution, but okay, yeah, yeah.
at
That's fine. Because it's tied to, yeah, because it's that polarity between Aries and Libra. It is tied to also I would say it's also something to do with the physical. Um, the what is that one called? The endocrine system,
it.
stress,
Mm.
the
Hmm.
the what do you call it? Adrenal and suprarenal glands. I think lymph nodes. No, not the lymph nodes. But yeah, so the stress levels, stress hormones, that kind of stuff. I don't know if you already do the Wim Hof method. You mentioned it before I even brought it up.
Yeah, I have done it many, many times.
Okay. Do you still do
Yeah.
it?
Oh, not so much. Not
Oh,
pardon.
no. Okay.
Do I? I still do breath work. I haven't. I haven't done the cold therapy as much, but I've done a lot of the breath work.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Because I do it every day. I mean, the fact that yeah. So I don't know. I feel
Do you do
like
the cold every day?
yeah,
The cold showers?
yeah. I
Oh
go
my god.
I go into warm first.
Yeah.
But there are times where I don't go into warm.
You
And
just straight in.
I've done ice baths, so I'm used to the
Yeah.
cold anyways. So now, but when I go to bed, I like it warm. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna go cold. It's like, yeah, this is how it is. So I balance things. So I mean, it's funny because like you do have your moon and your sun and your moon are in fire and water, so it kind of makes sense why you would go into something that's also, you would be okay with this as well. But it's funny because both signs tend to be about the cold. You know, there's a reason why the signs were associated with parts of the year, right? It's like
Mhm.
Sagittarius is late, it's after Scorpio, so it's about December, and that's already cold month, right? Pisces is March, April, yeah, and that's still cold.
Mhm.
So they're both kind of cold. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know if cold therapy might be part of this one because I'm looking at Chiron here and I'm seeing. I was seeing something about. No, there's something about um, when it comes to the whole suprarenal stuff. Because as Wim Hof mentioned, I don't know if you remember this, but he talks about how there's de-stress, right? And talk about stress
Mhm.
hormones, right? The Aries Libra polarity. So stress levels. Sometimes we think of stress as like only negative stress or de-stress, but actually, cold therapy is not that. Eustress. Working out is also eustress. You know, it's like oh, it hurts at first, but actually, it's good for you. It's not.
Mm.
It's not in the story in the mind. It goes like you're dead. It's self-worth stuff related, childhood
Mhm.
abandonment, abuse, and all that. It's not that kind of story where you know it's not that.
Yeah.
It's this one is natural. It's from nature, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
Mm.
thought I'd put that in there. I'm not gonna force you to go back into cold showers.
Oh, I should do.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Also, okay. So I'm gonna continue with the last thing here with Chiron. Um, so one of the gifts you had already, I mentioned earlier about having to being able to regenerate, right? We talked about those many things earlier. Um, we talked about what else did I see here? The connection and what is it? I feel like it's also tied to your family as well. You know, having that background in a bit of like gardening stuff and planting and all that stuff, because
Mhm.
Chiron is also tied to that. But he's about medicine. So here, oh, he's about seeding and seeds. That totally makes sense.
Mm.
He's also
Mm.
about skill sets. So if you feel like you need to develop certain skill sets, or you feel you know when it feels natural, and you're just like, I've acquired this skill. I've acquired this skill. By all means, go all out. That's what I'm saying.
Mm.
Because Chiron
Mhm.
was also multifaceted as well, just like
Mm.
many of the So it's good, but it also ties into medicine because it's Chiron. It's healing, right? But he
Mhm.
worked with herbs, um, laurels, wreaths, botany. I'm not saying
Mm.
study botany. I'm not saying doing any of these things. But whatever you get into that's healing could also be natural medicine, like homeopathy. You can go
Well,
into
it's weird that you're saying this because, like, even a couple days ago, because I've been doing like sessions with people one on one, and I've been thinking about bringing in some herbal, just like bringing in some cacao or tea and stuff before we go into like healing sessions because it helps to relax and
yeah,
different things like that.
yeah.
Because I'm already interested in it. It's just not my full on focus, you know.
There's yeah, that's true. That's okay. What I would say, is it because you feel like you have to learn what they are?
No, not so much because like I quite enjoy doing that. It's just naturally. It's I think what you just said about skill sets is important because I think with me being all the time going with the flow, I naturally like I'm learning things usually just what I feel like learning, and it's normally to do with subconscious realms or like a spiritual. stuff to do with the psyche, relationships, emotions. That's like what I would naturally like learning about. But when it comes about to skill sets, I need to be more structured with like actually choosing a skill set to pick up and then incorporating that into what I already know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you done any of the meditation with Aaron Dowdy where he says when he's channeling a parallel life?
I do that all the time. That's
Okay.
actually something that I'm teaching other people as well.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I find that really helpful.
So yeah, there you go. So
Yeah.
they can just what they can do is like you can channel what that vision is, and if it really inspires you, going into Bashar's so-called formula, he just calls it a formula, but I get why he calls it that. Um,
Hmm.
right? It's just that whole like okay, so it's almost like you're incrementally acquiring the skills. Maybe switching from one skill and then going to the other, and then coming back to the other one, and going here, and then coming back to this one. It's almost like this web of
It is.
exactly. So
And it's
that's cool.
interesting what you said about the Aaron Doughty stuff because that vision of me giving people like tea and stuff before my sessions came to me whilst I'm doing them, tapping into the higher self. It's like I see myself doing that,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that before, but it just makes sense that you would,
Oh yeah.
because it's all connected.
There you go. There you go. Sorry. So
Yeah,
I think you're in the right path already. You're already doing it. I just want to kind of give you some sort of confirmation too. Usually astrology does that anyways.
yeah,
um,
uh,
but yeah, so that could be done the same thing for herbs. If you're thinking about it as in terms of like you need some sort of structure, one way that I go about things is like create a cheat sheet
okay.
or build your cheat sheet. You don't need to say create one as in from A to Z. No, just go A and that's it for today. The next time,
Hmm.
you just add it. You make your cheat sheet. That's what I do with my cheat sheet. Like I have this thing for asteroids. It's now 835 pages now, single spaced, and it's humongous. It started out as a cheat sheet. I was just gonna go, okay, I'm just gonna work with a few asteroids. Then for some reason, I was just like, I don't even remember how this happened, but I was being called to look here, do this, do that. So I was like, okay.
Wow.
So I was innovating from books that I've had before and used their kind of their structure and use it as my own and did my own research for the asteroid instead of like buying a book and be like, what's this asteroid do? What's this for? No, I was like, I want to do it my
Mm.
way. I'm
Mm.
actually going to,
That's really interesting.
and I'm actually planning on doing the same thing with basic astrology stuff, with all the planets, right? And seeing what
Mm.
it's about and putting in my own words the way that I feel, meaning like co-createdly, right? Again, if I still
Yeah.
feel called to do it, that's fine. If I don't, that's fine too. So that kind of stuff, right? So you build your cheat sheet, so to speak.
So why do you call it a cheat sheet?
So that way I don't have to remember anything. I just go, okay.
Oh, okay. So it's like a folder of like your knowledge.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen Teal
Uh,
Swan do her completion process sessions? You know she has that folder. You ever seen her do that?
no.
Yeah, she does. So what she does, she
What,
just
what what's that folder?
I don't know what it is, but I feel like what she does, it's kind of like her cheat sheet sort of thing. Like it's sort of like a reference, and then she
She
kind of
references her
yeah,
work.
yeah, she references her own work, and she goes like, okay, this is what I know. So that way it gives structure, but not where it's not structuring and forcing the short-term memory to become long-term memory. We don't want to do that,
Yeah.
you know.
No.
So yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. I do have a folder with all my stuff that I learn in it.
yeah, yeah, and make it sort of like
Yeah.
whatever you're doing a session. Start with like what kind of session you do. For example, if it's like if it's under the category of healing session, this what do I need here, and then bullet point maybe this is what I need, or this is what I need to say, or and that keep it super simple, and that's it, not complicated. Just that's it,
Mm.
and then do that. And if you need to expand on what that healing is, then you create another, maybe a column, maybe another page, maybe another cheat sheet, doesn't matter. You have something where it's still organized, but you're not going, you're not, don't, you're not attached to the outcome. Basically, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're just building it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be kind of the
Interesting.
research thing is tied to the research as well, right? You can research, but it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be like, because I tend to do that. Well, more before than now, where it's like, I'm doing this. Like, I have fixed stars to work on right now, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna do all 10 right now. I'm gonna do one for today. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. You're making one step anyway.
Exactly. Right. So there you go.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah. Um. So that's what I thought. That's what I'm just saying. So yeah. Let's see here. So, oh, going back to the whole thing I started about natural medicine, it could also be tied to homeopathy or primeval medicine or traditional medicine, things that are old,
Hmm.
archaic things. Let's see here. He's also about the woods, wilderness, forest, rustic things. Um,
Hmm.
let's see here. We talked about artistry and artists, right? So I'm not sure about that one. There's something about cheese making. That's weird. Okay. Uh, let's see here. I don't know.
Cheese making.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but maybe some. I don't know. Have you ever have you ever done anything very Sagittarian like archery, darts?
No, I've
Okay.
done it. When you say art, though, I'm very creative. I make a lot of. Well, I used to make a lot of art.
Oh,
At the moment, I'm not really in that phase, but
that's
and
okay.
poetry. Like, I have done it before.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, yeah. Poetry is still good. I do. I got back into poetry after I think about a month after I met my boyfriend. So I've
Oh,
been going into that. So it's very. He's like my muse. I'm his muse.
oh, you go through phases, right?
Yeah.
Different life
Yeah.
situations.
That's right.
Like, bring out the poet.
Yeah. So I mentioned art, but I also mentioned archery. What do you think about archery? Not that you need to kill anyone. I'm just saying.
I don't really think about archery, to be honest. It doesn't.
Okay.
Maybe it would be like fun to bring out a certain side of me, but
Okay. That's all right. And there's also other animals. Like you said, you worked with animals before, right? Or that's curious for you.
I did work with animals
Okay.
before, just for a short while.
Okay.
Had a little dog business.
Okay. There's a big one here with Chiron, which is actually tied to exactly what we're doing right now, astrology.
Hmm.
Or if it's too much work, meaning perceived work, because again, I've been doing this since 2010. So I just
Wow.
yeah. So I mean, I took one little thing at a time. But if it's a little too much, if it's a little too left brain for you, that's totally fine.
Hmm.
There's also other stuff here tied to Chiron, again tied to your North Node, oracles, prophecies. So I don't know
Yes,
if you want
I
to.
do.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go on.
Huh? Sorry.
What were you gonna say?
No, no. I was just saying that if it's tied to astrology, you can get into what's called a traditional astrology discipline called orary, and it's not as
Mm.
complicated as modern traditional astrology. What you're doing is you help people find lost things. Orary is lost things, or if they have a yes or no. It's very divinational. You know, like
Mm.
divination cards like tarot, oracle cards, runes.
Lost things, like, what do you mean they find lost things?
Yeah, literally find lost things. So I can't find my car
Physical
keys.
items?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So there's an astrology for that. I'm just saying.
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm just saying here because I'm just saying that because it's like lost things as part of Chiron, but it could also be figurative, meaning
Lost
lost.
parts of yourself.
Yeah, lost child. Exactly, like the completion process. There's that part of aspect of your child that yes, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I'd be interested in,
Okay,
definitely.
there you go. A few more things here. Let's see here. Lifeguards, Heimlich maneuver, rescues, rescue missions, restorations. Okay, it's kind of healing, same thing. Ceremonies or commemoration ceremonies. I don't know if you do any rituals with your healing. That's
Yeah, I do.
okay. Uh, the constellation Centaurus. That's kind of obvious, but I don't know. Hmm. I think that's about it. Wine,
Mm.
something about wine here, but again, I'm not saying drink wine. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, just reading whatever I'm reading. Okay. Um, Sometimes some parts of the reading kind of got dry. I'm sorry about that, but
No,
that's
no,
astrology.
not at all.
Oh, not
I
at
find
all. Okay,
it
good. Okay.
interesting. I love talking about astrology. So
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. So,
uh,
I think that's about it because I've pretty much gone through much of your path. Did you have any questions? I know there was a lot, but at the same time, was it?
no, I don't have any questions. I think like I'm gonna go back and listen again, and then like just
Oh,
see. Like I would love to do that, and then like maybe research a few things because it's. I feel like astrology is so complex and like deep, and you can just go in. So I don't know. It's interesting though. A lot of the things that you were saying, I didn't. It's like brings up things that I'm like, I haven't thought of that before. So it'd be interesting to look into certain things a little bit deeper.
okay. Yeah, and it's. I mean that that was just technically we we kind of swam a little bit, but we didn't really swim deep. I mean, the one I gave you
Yeah.
was just your nodes and then your midheaven. I mean, I didn't even actually connect it to the other stuff. Also, because I made a mistake with the time, and that made it kind of. Oops, my bad.
Maybe it was meant to be that way. I don't know.
Yeah, also don't want to complicate things a little too much too, so that's why as well. Because if I had done the
Yeah.
charts that I did before, I'd be like, and that's a trick about astrology, just like with anything, with any discipline, whatever tools we use, we go back into it. We go back into it. I still do it with astrology. I go back to my own charts all the time,
Mm,
even the basic ones without the asteroids. I go back into it.
yeah.
Is there something I'm missing? Is there something there? I'm like, because I go with my experience and I go like, I'm always getting this sort of cognizance. I hear this sort of, I say, look up this thing, look up this thing. And it's like, okay. So
Yeah.
they literally,
Well, I've never looked up any of the stuff you told me today.
oh,
I only ever look into my usual birth chart.
oh, well, if you want, what you could do is if there's some sort of name for what, if you want, what you can start with is if you hear some sort of name and it's sort of associated with some experience you have in the moment. See if you
Hmm.
type that up into. Do you have access to astro.com?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have your own birth chart there. You have a profile. Okay, um, look up the asteroids. There's an asteroid section at the bottom. I don't know if you you know how to do that, right?
I
So
think
there's
so.
okay, or you can look up
I'll
fixed
figure it
stars,
out.
or you can look up fixed stars as well if you want to. That's more a galactic thing. But either way, the asteroids will, because when you look into the asteroids, there's several things. One, it's named after a mythological or legendary figure. Two, it's named after a place
Okay.
or named after a person. Either way, all three things, at least those three things, have stories in them that tie to why you're getting that message or why you're having this experience. Like, for example, if you meet someone named John
Hmm.
and you look up the asteroid John or a John asteroid, there's lots of them actually, there's tons of, just click on one of them and you see into the sign that it's in and the house that it's in, or if it's tied to an angle, like the angular houses. You know about the angles?
Mm-mm.
The ascendant, nadir, descendant, midheaven. Those are the angles.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if it's tied to those are big as well. So those, whatever the reasons are, and you can always ask me. You can always message me to, like, ask me. It's like, what is this? What do you think this could mean? What you can do is
Okay.
look up the history, glance through. Don't read everything. Just like skim through the history of who that person was, if the story is there, or what the place is about. An example would be like Russia. Literally, an asteroid named after Russia is tied to my north node. Does that mean I'm supposed to go there? Not necessarily. But I look at the story of
Mm.
Russia and its history. It's like, whoa, that resonates a
Mm.
lot with my story. You see what I
That's
mean?
interesting.
Same,
Yeah.
same thing with the mythology and the legends. So all these
Mm.
stories tie in with that. So you don't have to do the research that I do. But if you want to take notes, by all means you can. If you don't, that's totally fine. But you'll know that there's a link between the story and your experience.
Okay. Definitely something I'll look into. I've never gone that deep into astrology, but it's so interesting.
Yeah. So that's why I keep doing it. It's just like, every time.
You have a lot of knowledge.
Through when I do these things myself, through my own research for myself and all that stuff, yes. But But again, that's why
Yeah.
I do the cheat sheet. Cause I'm like, I'm not memorizing all that stuff. I'm not.
Yeah.
Forget it. I used to do that, and it's just a
Yeah.
waste of time. Waste of time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, cool. So, any feedback, like any sort of like that you?
I don't think so. Not off the top of my head, but if I think of something, I'll definitely let you know
Okay. Um.
once I've processed. I feel like I need to process the information and then I'll
Okay.
message you.
The the general thing about the gifts of the past is that your curiosity and your independence, your for freedom, that sort of renegade qualities. You also have that quality. You kind of a renegade. You kind of a freedom fighter, if that makes sense. You you root for the underdog as well. That's a gift of Aries as well. Kind of like
Mm.
looking, embrace a part of that where you're not necessarily hurting others. And I'm sure you already have learned this lesson already, or at least because we learn lessons. It's a spiral thing,
Yeah.
but we get better at it. With
Yeah.
tying it to Libra, it's not only learning to do things in relationship with others, but also facing the truth that sometimes might feel kind of scary,
Mm.
right? Because if it's Libra, Libra's non-confrontational. It's a very like passive
Mm-hmm.
sign. It's very kind of like. It also is ruled by Eris, the goddess of discord. She's a passive warrior. She's like, is this what you want? Okay, so but there's a gift to that too, where you leave things alone, let well enough
Mm-hmm.
alone, where it just
Mm-hmm.
kind of, it's okay to use all aspects of that energy. So look up the energies of the polarity between Aries and Libra, and you notice that
Mm-hmm.
that's part of your path, right?
Mm. Okay.
So yeah, um, could be in many things too. I mean, you don't have to be a lawyer, you don't have to be a debater, you don't have to be a musician, but you said art, right? You used to do art, so that's still a Libra thing. Being out in nature, that's also Libra. Libra loves art, nature. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, you said you're a good driver. That's a total given. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but you can use that analogy of driving others.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, in this life, you're meant to lead others, not only by, yes, by being an example, but also by kind of. Have you?
Guiding?
Yeah, but have you heard of passive listening? It's a psychological tool. Yeah, it's like
Mm-hmm.
asking questions. Like,
Mm.
how do you feel about that?
Love
Okay,
doing that.
there you go. So you're already doing
I
that.
love, and that's why I said about guiding because I feel like I'm doing that when I'm doing sessions with people.
Hmm.
It's like I'm just kind of like asking questions to get a little bit deeper and unravel things that maybe they wouldn't think to ask themselves,
Yeah.
but also teaching them to do that for
Yes,
themselves.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm. And shadow work is absolutely part of that.
100. I love shadow work. Isn't that something to do with Scorpio? Shadow work?
Both Libra and Scorpio.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And they're both to do with my midheaven, right?
No, your midheaven is Scorpio.
Yeah.
So, but Scorpio goes into the psyche, the shadow of the psyche stuff. Libra is more mental because it is air. It's up more up
Mm-hmm.
here, where Scorpio goes further down into the I would call this the excretory system. So
Right.
release of waste. So you can combine the two and be like do sort of mental shadow work into the subconscious, but also physical shadow work into the subconscious because they're tied.
Yeah. Interesting. Would the physical shadow work also be tied to like energy healing and stuff?
It could be. It could also be kind of like what Victor does with his somatic breath ceremony.
No, that's what I mean by that was what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
picturing
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
because it's something that I do a lot, like movement
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
work,
I think
which is
yeah. If you can't do the training for the completion process, if there's nothing there that you found yet, not yet, there is there is a class by Wim Hof where you could
hmm
become a practitioner of Wim Hof method, and you do that, you can
Mm.
incorporate that into your stuff as well. I mean, just something to look into.
Something to it's definitely a good thing to add to the tool belt,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
Oh
know?
yeah, the skill set stuff. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the skill set.
yeah.
Because I think
Goosebumps.
I used to be scared. Yeah, I used to be scared of like doing a course because I thought that would box me in. But now I'm realizing, okay, actually, no, you can just add and add and add. And then when intuitively use what needs to be used for whatever situation.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Wonderful.
Oh, this is great.
Awesome.
Yay.
Yay, yay. That's a whole little bit by little bit sort of thing, right?
Yeah, it is because there's a part of me that wants to just like have everything ready now, and it's like
I know.
let's like mature.
I know. I know. So you have to work with those because I mean, think of every accomplishment as like it's not just about the whole like I have short-term goals and I have long-term goals. It's not even about the goal. Think about it as if when you focus on just being present and this is it, you put more quality into what's in the moment. Right? It's kind of like painting something. If you just
Mhm.
right, if you want to
Mm.
completely paint something, like say you wanted to you want the brush to completely cover what you're covering, right? If you brush through it quickly, what happens? You'll see little spaces in between it. But if you slow down,
Intentional brush
yeah,
strokes.
and actually focus on the whole gratitude energy, really just go into
Oh
what am I grateful for? That really go back into that. That whole Aries thing is there too. Aries is actually a very present energy.
yeah,
So because it's so focused. Same thing with Scorpio too. Scorpio is very present in a way that is very focused and tenacious. There's the gift behind that,
mhm.
where it's not necessarily about obsession or, like control and all that stuff. It's not about control. It's about I'm just surrendering to that this moment right here.
Mm. Mhm. That's really helpful
Yeah.
to do that because it does. Because otherwise, it's like thinking about everything that could, like perfectionism, you know,
Yeah. There's
like
yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
gets in the way.
Yeah.
But when you're really like, yeah,
Out of
so
yeah,
good.
out of all the teachers and people out there that I've only ever strictly, I wouldn't say strictly followed, but the ones that I go back to right away,
Mhm.
is tied to Eckhart Tolle's and the Wim Hof method. Because when we're not present, we can do all the work we want to. We can all follow methodologies, yada yada techniques. It's not going to matter. If we're not
It's not.
present and we're not compassionate and we're not grateful for just in this moment and literally like I can breathe. Oh my god.
Mm.
We're not if we're not childlike like a toddler would be, like just laughing, just being crazy. That is highly spiritual. We call it spiritual.
Yeah.
That's what exactly. That's the root of everything. That's where things start to expand. That
Yeah, and I love how Eckhart also says about how like your state of consciousness is going to affect other people's state of consciousness. Like just being in a room with someone that is present can calm you down. And like that's valuable in and of itself. If you can like run a session with someone, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. If you're present with them, they might get so much out of that because they're able to
absolutely.
like ground into your presence
Yeah.
or anchor into it.
Mm. That's how connected we
Mm,
are, right?
yeah.
it's like the branches of a tree. We think we're separate, but actually we're not.
No, we're not.
Right?
We're
Mm.
so connected.
Yeah. So
It's really interesting.
uniform but also unique. So it's both. That's the comparison.
Yeah, it's definitely both. Have you seen that series called Pluribus that's come out recently?
What is it called?
It's like it's called Pluribus. Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
Oh no, I
Okay,
haven't.
okay. So no, that's fair. It's just the only reason I said that is because it's the same like producer or director or something or whoever made it. But it's basically about there's this extraterrestrial virus that like spreads on Earth,
Mm.
and every human being becomes a hive mind. So they're all connected through one mind. But I find it's really weird. Wait, have you heard?
No, it sounds interesting. It's like the Borg.
Yeah, well, I've never heard of the Borg.
Star
But
Trek,
what?
it's from the Star Trek series. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay,
It's okay.
okay.
No, no, go ahead.
No, but what I was thinking when I'm watching it is the thing that's missing from this show is there's no individual like uniqueness to each person. They all just become one, literally one mind, and they don't
Oh.
have any. It's really weird. It's like they're all the same, you know.
Hmm.
So I feel like that's not. I don't know how if we were to like evolve to become like a hive mind kind of thing. I feel like I'd hope we'd still have our unique
Yeah, so
qualities.
because it's the balance, yes, like yeah, yeah. You've
Yeah,
heard of fragmentation, right? How
yeah, because of Till Swan.
yeah, and so Carrie something K. She channels. She's from South Africa. She says that it's like
Mm.
God or the universe or creator is like this perfect chocolate cake. I can't have chocolate, but that's fine. If you break it down in
Oh
from its
no.
yeah from its ingredients, like you take out the egg, you take out the flour, the milk, and all that stuff, right? You take out all the main ingredients, and then you make something out of those ingredients. That's how she puts it. But how I pictured it is if you break something apart, let's say like this gemstone right here, you break it apart into just little pieces. How do you build from that, right? But that's
Mm-hmm.
how you do. That's how you start, anyways. Because when
Mm-hmm.
fragmentation doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It just means that there's more room. Like the Japanese would, when something is broken, they don't make it perfect again. They keep it the way it is and stick with that, but they just add to it. What they do is, so if a
Mm.
cup is broken, there's a cut to it. What they do is if it's some, or sorry, if something's chipped off, they use that same, put it back, but they don't try to put it back exactly in its place. They add to it so that it becomes kind of layered.
Mm.
So that's whole.
Like something new.
Yeah, exactly. So it's still uniform back to where it was, but it's now also unique. If that
Mm.
makes sense.
Mm. Yeah, true. That's so interesting.
There you go. So yeah, very
Oh,
good. Awesome.
thank you,
Yeah,
Jose.
no
I
problem.
was going to say to you also,
Yes.
if you do you know what, by the way,
Yeah, go ahead.
when you posted your thing on the alumni thing about doing
Thing.
your
Yeah.
free
Yeah.
sessions, it really like I was like I need to do that because like I'm getting, and then I started giving away free sessions literally because you had said that you were, and it's been really helpful for me to like do that and learn just from giving the sessions, you know. So I was going to say to you, do if you want, if you feel called to, you can come and I can do one of my sessions with you
Oh,
as well
sure.
if
Yeah.
you would like to. uh, yeah.
Yeah, sure, 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 sure.
Yeah,
So, okay, well, let me close this one. So, for this, just for the sake of the channel. So, thank you very much. Have a good
yeah.
day. Bye, 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 bye. All right. So, I hope you enjoyed that. That was felt a little longer than usual. Oh, that's because we were chatting even after that one, but that's fine. That's cool. I hope you guys enjoyed the reading. That was fun for me. Going to a little bit of the details and actually kind of reinterpreting what I already done before. You know, I have like research done on the asteroids. Like an asteroid approximately has maybe 2 to 6, maybe even 10, a lot of pages in like in one for one asteroid. That's because I go through the myth and all that stuff. And I interpret it, and I do this and I do this and I do this and I do this. So there's a lot of detail. Um, so that's yeah, that's a lot. So what happened was I had to focus more on what the details were and applied it to what for the specific reading and the aspects to the planets and all that other stuff. So I know it's a little confusing, but yeah, yeah. I'm actually gonna try setting up a kind of a class. I'm thinking of setting up a class. I don't know what you guys might think of that one. Let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions, though, comments below. Questions, let's connect. Um, and also, um, yeah, like and subscribe. Sorry, I'm thinking of something else. But thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.